Chapter 315. Toru Watanabe pulled open the curtains, and the morning sun shone into the room. The young mistress's unhappy voice came from under the covers. She turned around and went back to sleep. Toru Watanabe walked to the bedside and looked at Miki Kujo's delicate face. Time to get up. She didn't even open her eyes. Didn't we say we were going to have breakfast together today? I'm not going. She refused without hesitation. Toru Watanabe walked to the end of the bed, lifted the covers a little, and crawled under. Miki Kujo's two beautiful legs fell into his eyes and hands. He gently touched her calves, then went past her knees and down to her thighs. Her thighs were snow-white and smooth. After touching enough, Toru Watanabe continued to move forward until he reached between her legs. Miki Kujo suddenly closed her legs and clamped him. Miki, let go. If you let go, you won't have to get up early, Toru Watanabe said. After a short silence, Miki Kujo groaned in dissatisfaction and helplessness. Then she sat up. She flipped over, lifted the covers, and rode on Toru Watanabe's chest. Good morning, Miki Kujo-san. Today is another beautiful day, Toru Watanabe said. Miki Kujo wrapped her arms around his neck and said fiercely, I'll strangle you. The young girl's voice was forceful and angry. She didn't use any strength. She just maintained the position of strangling and shook Toru Watanabe's head up and down. Stop shaking, I'm going to faint. At this point, the dangerous mission of forcefully waking Miki Kujo up was officially completed. Miki Kujo got off Toru Watanabe's body and walked into the bathroom with her beautiful slender legs. Toru Watanabe sat up and began to tidy up the bed. He said to her, Wear an extra coat later. Don't be fooled by the sun. The temperature in the morning is very low. Miki Kujo's voice was muffled as she brushed her teeth. By the time she finished washing up and dressing up, the other four were already waiting on the lawn in front of the villa. Last night, the two ladies suddenly became interested and made an appointment to have breakfast together this morning, which led to the incident just now. They rode their bicycles. Toru Watanabe, who had deliberately skipped his morning jog, went to run. In the forest in the early morning, the sounds of birds chirping were clearer than usual. Among the sounds of woodpeckers pecking on wood, there was a special kind of bird cry. Ache, what kind of bird is that? Xiaoyan rode her children's bicycle and followed the running Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe listened carefully. Cuckoo bird. Xiaoyan, come here. Rin Kiyono's voice came from behind. Xiaoyan and Toru Watanabe looked at each other. On her young and tender face, there was an expression of sudden realization that said, Class is about to begin again. She slowed down the bicycle and rode together with Rin Kiyono. Sister Rin, do you want to continue learning English today? Today I will teach you about Cuckoo's haiku and Chinese poetry. It just so happens that Karuizawa has Matsuo Basho's haiku stele. I will teach you about this haiku poet's sentence. I know. It's the stone on the edge of the big palace bridge. The cuckoo's voice crosses the river. The cuckoo's voice crosses the river. Xiaoyan repeated. It means, the bird has flown over, but the voice still stays on the river, and even echoes. In Chinese poetry, there is a similar sentence, Su Shi's white dew crosses the river, water reaches the sky. In Rin Kiyono's cold and sweet voice, Miki Kujo rode to Toru Watanabe's side, put a hand on his shoulder, and let him lead her and the bicycle. It's just running, there won't be any improvement, I will help you train. She described her behavior. Are you serious? You didn't lie to me? Toru Watanabe showed a dubious expression. I love you the most. How can I lie to you? No wonder Kiyono classmate broke up with you, a woman full of lies. Miki Kujo sneered. Do you think she is a good person? I don't think so, but you can talk about your point of view. Toru Watanabe was interested. If you like a person, you will try your best to pick his thorns. Do you think such a person is normal? This is indeed what Kiyono classmate will do. Toru Watanabe agreed. Watanabe classmate, come to class. Rin Kiyono's voice was like the cold and clear morning air. In the morning sun, the leaves rustled overhead. Don't know if it was the wind or the squirrels jumping on the branches. When they reached the street and parked the bicycle, Xiaolian began to say that she wanted to eat croissants and so on. After more than 10 days, she could already plan breakfast in advance and integrate into her current life. They walked into a coffee shop that sold bread and all kinds of breakfast, and sat by the window facing the street. In the glass window, 6 people drank fresh milk and freshly ground coffee, ate fried eggs, grilled sausages, fresh fruit, and freshly baked bread. After eating, Xiaolian was directly picked up by Jiaji and a group of people. A group of children rode their bicycles through the streets, forest paths, and river banks, almost becoming the owners of Karuizawa. Toru Watanabe and the ladies went to buy today's ingredients and filled the basket of the bicycle with them. On the way back, the temperature rose. Miki Kujo tied her jacket around her slender waist, becoming a youthful sports beauty. Looking at her calm expression, one would think that she was an early riser who did morning exercises every day. They just went out for breakfast, but because they were too relaxed, it was already 10 o'clock when they returned to the villa. They put the ingredients in the refrigerator, washed some fruit, and sat on the sofa to watch TV. The TV was broadcasting the Koshien semifinals, Tokyo, Kamigawa versus Kitasaka, Osaka Tokien. In the hot air, completely different from Karuizawa, the noise of the Hanshin Koshien Stadium resounded through the sky. The two teams that were thought to be locked in the championship and the runner-up collided in the semi-finals ahead of time. What a pity. There is only one champion in Koshien, no runner-up. Sooner or later, you must defeat everyone. The commentator on the TV was very excited. Looking at the audience's reaction, it was clear that everyone was looking forward to this game. The scene on the TV reminded Toru Watanabe of his rescue in the regional finals, but it didn't matter. About that day, the most important thing was Rin Kiyono's words to him in the stuffy corridor. Don't you have something you want to do first instead of thinking about others? What do I want to do? Of course, the 5 people, including Rin Kiyono, live happily together. That's impossible. Rin Kiyono has her own persistence and pride, her own promise and responsibility. She can't give up so easily. What else do I want to do? Let Miki Kujo not sleep all day. Let Rin Kiyono not read books alone. Let them reconcile. Let them become friends again. Let them go shopping together. Let them discuss which clothes look better together. That's the only thing he wants to do now. Thinking down the line, Miki Kujo's voice replaced Rin Kiyono's. You and Rin Kiyono are too close. You can't think calmly. You can't look at her objectively. You think of everything from her point of view. Looking at Rin Kiyono calmly. Not Rin Kiyono, but the relationship between Rin Kiyono and Miki Kujo. If it were anyone else, even if it were the whole world, Toru Watanabe would stand on Rin Kiyono's side without hesitation. But this person is Miki Kujo. Toru Watanabe believes that he can remain calm and not argue about whether it's right or wrong to insist on being honest. Since both sides are equal, the problem can be simplified. When it comes to friendship, whoever did more wrong should apologize. With Toru Watanabe's understanding of the two of them, if one of them apologizes, the other will definitely mock and ridicule them. But it doesn't matter. With Rin Kiyono's ability to not lie and see through lies, their intentions to reconcile and get closer will be clearly revealed. As long as one of them apologizes, the two of them will reconcile. Toru Watanabe has enough confidence in this. He also doesn't have to worry about her not admitting her mistakes because of her personality. Rin Kiyono will admit her mistakes. She won't be the kind of person who won't allow others to be better than her just because she has been excellent for a long time. She won't allow others to be better than her, and she won't allow herself to be flawed. It's just like how she showed off last spring. Admitting her own inadequacies was part of her excellence. As for Miki Kujo, it's better for her to eliminate the person who made the mistake than for her to admit her mistakes. But the other party is Toru Watanabe and Rin Kiyono. One will say sweet things in bed, while the other will see the truth and only speak the truth. After thinking about so many things, making one of the two apologetic was the most difficult and crucial step. After Rin Kiyono gained the ability to see through lies, she made a promise with Miki Kujo. Neither of them will lie, and they will continue to be friends. Miki Kujo agreed, but if she wants to take over the Kujo family, how can she not lie? When the promise is broken, Rin Kiyono thinks that she was betrayed and no longer contacts Miki Kujo. Miki Kujo thinks that Rin Kiyono is unreasonable and no longer contacts her. The two little girls who played together all day before the age of 4 don't see eye to eye with each other after the age of 4. In their hearts, they think that they were betrayed and treated unfairly. They each have their own standpoints and difficulties. No one is right, and no one is wrong. This is the crux of the problem that has always troubled Toru Watanabe and caused their relationship to deteriorate to this day. Even the wives can't do anything about it. The score is temporarily behind Kamigawa. Go for it. The television is playing a baseball game that Toru Watanabe has no interest in at all. Along with the commentary, the camera panned to the Kamigawa support team. All the teachers and students of the school formed the two words Kamigawa. The band is playing hard under the hot sun. There is also Huang Zi, who is about to faint from the heat in the front row. Aona Koizumi and Miyazaki Miyuki are taking care of Huang Zi. They haven't seen each other for half a month, and Aona Koizumi is still as gentle as ever. Even if he can't hear what she is saying to Huang Zi, Toru Watanabe can imagine her gentle tone. Toru Watanabe suddenly remembered something. Miki Kujo's voice disappeared from his ears and was replaced by Aona Koizumi and Mayasahi's figures on the lawn of Meiji Shrine. Only when we care for each other and understand each other can we be happy in life. That was what Aona Koizumi said to comfort Toru Watanabe when he was in front of Miki Kujo and was deliberately being polite to them. The 5 of them, each of them has their own wishes. Their fates are intertwined, and their feelings and desires are intricate. Isn't the only path to happiness to care for each other and understand each other? After thinking about this, Toru Watanabe finally decided on a way to reconcile the two of them. Maybe it will fail, but before there is a better way, he can only do it. No matter what he does, even if he repeats the action of letting the two of them spend more time together like the two wives, it is better than standing there and waiting. Toru Watanabe is in a good mood and recovered from his inner world. Rin Kiyono is reading by the window, the two wives are asleep on the sofa, and Miki Kujo is sleeping on his shoulder. The school song of Osaka Tongin is playing on the TV. Kamigawa's baseball team. These boys with buzz cut who insist on running every morning are wiping the uncontrollable tears in their eyes with their dirty hands. Toru Watanabe put Miki Kujo on the sofa and got up to lower the volume of the TV. Regarding Kamigawa's defeat, he is unexpectedly not sad. He is still happy that he thought of a way to reconcile the two of them. Winning is their youth. Losing is also their youth. Maybe after school starts, everyone in Kamigawa will blame Toru Watanabe for not playing and blame him, but he doesn't care. Running in the heavy rain last year not only made him hate wearing wet sneakers, but also made him disregard other people's opinions. What are you so happy about? Toru Watanabe looked in the direction of the voice. In the soft sunlight in front of the window, Rin Kiyono's eyes are still fixed on the hardcover book in her hand. Her whole body is glowing, as if the light is emitted from her body. Rin Kiyono's skin is transparent to this extent. Toru Watanabe walked over with light steps. I found something amazing. He stood behind her chair and said in a tone that says he is about to tell a big secret. Am I really God? Yes, I am God. Toru Watanabe said seriously. I don't have time to listen to your fantasies. Rin Kiyono's slender fingers, which are almost transparent under the sunlight, flipped through the pages of the book. Aren't you reading a book? How can you not have time? Do you think that listening to your nonsense is more important than reading a book? Isn't it? Yes. You're too cute. Toru Watanabe said seriously. This is the amazing thing that I found out. Rin Kiyono finally looked up from the book. Her expression is cold, and her eyes are sharp as she stares at Toru Watanabe. My cuteness needs to be discovered? You're focusing on the wrong thing. But your ability to flirt is getting better and better, unlike the Russia-sen I know. After being with you for so long, I can't do anything about it. Think about the first time the two of us met. You were so cold back then. I asked Human Observation Department. You didn't even look up. Yes. The girl continues reading. Same interests club? Official club? Club. Can I leave early? Yes. Can I join now? Rin Kiyono looked up and met Toru Watanabe's eyes. Both of them laughed at the same time. Pull Mickey along. How about the three of us perform a play for the cultural festival? I think it'll be interesting, Toru Watanabe said. You're in charge of the script. I've already thought about it. I'm a noble and you two are maids. I'll touch your thighs every day. Can you say that again? I'm a noble and you two are maids. I beg you, and you two touch my thighs with disgust. This is a very serious play to expose the ugliness of medieval nobles. You're correcting the wrong thing. But with your intelligence and ability to play dumb, you're very much like the Russian I know. Someone as smart as me can definitely write a script that surprises you. No, perform a play that surprises you. There's a hidden meaning in your words. What conspiracy are you brewing? The weather's nice. Toru Watanabe, who was standing behind Rin Kiyono's chair, retracted his gaze from her and looked at the sky covered by branches outside the floor-to-ceiling window. You're not going to answer me? Ring ring. Toru Watanabe hurriedly took out his cell phone. As he answered the call, he glanced at the sofa, worried that he would wake up the three sleeping girls. He put the cell phone to his ear, but the other party didn't say anything. He didn't look at the caller ID. He only heard the faint, familiar breathing sound, and knew that it was Mayasahi. Senpai. Che. It was a gentle yet passionate call. Mayasahi quickly followed up. I'm going to Karazawa today. Toru Watanabe was a little surprised. I can't pick you up, but I can accompany you tomorrow. He explained everything clearly. Aoi Ichiki and the others are with me. Che, can you say that you're picking up your classmates and then come pick me up? Senpai, you're so smart. As expected of a student from Tokyo University. What's the specific time of arrival? They have to take the school bus from Hyogo Prefecture back to Tokyo, so they'll be late. The Shinkansen train leaves at 6:28, and they'll arrive at 7:33. Okay. Toru Watanabe suddenly thought of something. Koshien lost in the morning. Is it appropriate for them to go on a trip in the afternoon? No one cares. Poor baseball club. What about their playing training? It's the potted moon orchid these few days. It's supposed to be a holiday, so I'm waiting for them. Okay then, I'll pick you up on time. Okay. Chapter 316. Mayasahi? Rin Kiyono asked Toru Watanabe after he hung up the phone. Yes. It's been exactly half a month since the day we boarded the yacht. It's time to accompany them. Rin Kiyono rested her chin on her hand and muttered in a very reasonable manner. Although Toru Watanabe opened his mouth twice, but he couldn't find the right words for the moment. In the end, he could only say tactfully, I don't think I need your permission for this matter. Some people just don't have enough self-awareness. Miki Kujo stretched and sat up. Her gorgeous and beautiful long hair slid down her shoulders like black water. You're saying that I don't have enough self-awareness? How can a person who knows their own limits be a loser? Loser. Even to this day, Rin Kiyono was so angry that she couldn't even speak when she heard this word. Toru Watanabe turned into thin air. At this time, even he had to stay far away from Rin Kiyono. Puffed, hee. The three of them looked in the direction of the sound. The two ladies sleeping together on the sofa were trying hard to suppress their laughter. Mrs. Kiyono even hit Mrs. Kujo to ask her to restrain herself. Both of them had their eyes closed and looked like they were sleeping and hadn't woken up yet. The three of them looked like they were going to continue chatting. Rin Kiyono looked away from her mother and Mrs. Kujo and looked at Miki Kujo. You promised Watanabe classmate, Aono Koizumi, and Mayasahi in exchange for a temporary relationship. Are you really that proud? They began digging at each other's scars and cruelly sprinkling salt on them. In other words, the two of them really knew each other's strengths and weaknesses. Not only do you have no self-awareness, but you've also lost your basic judgment? Miki Kujo walked over and put her hands on Rin Kiyono's chair, looking down at her as if she was hugging her. She stared into Rin Kiyono's eyes. Exchange? Ridiculous. That's what I owed him. I'm repaying him and taking all of him at the same time. Rin Kiyono raised her head. Even if she was looking up, her aura was not weak as she looked at Miki Kujo. If it wasn't for a series of accidents, do you think you could beat me? She said coldly. Accidents, accidents, accidents. You can't afford to lose? Because I really can't think of anything other than luck that you can use to defeat me. I'm as you are, and my personality is. I remember that you didn't because I'm you. If that's the case, how can you guarantee that if you meet Toru Watanabe normally, things won't develop into the same situation as now? I advise you not to anger me. Rin Kiyono slammed the book shut. So what if I anger you? Miki Kujo said with a smile. Rin Kiyono pushed her away and stood up. The two of them looked at each other under the sunlight in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. Don't make me allow him, Aona Koizumi, and my Asahi to lose your only chance of winning. Rin Kiyono's voice was calm, but it was filled with an unprecedented deterrent force. Toru Watanabe could no longer remain silent when the atmosphere was really tense. Even if you agree, I won't leave Miki, he said. Rin Kiyono glanced at him, then turned to look at Miki Kujo with a smile. Do you want to know if that's true or not? Don't play mind games with me. Miki Kujo scolded coldly, then sneered. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. Just agree to try and let me see. I don't need to break my bottom line to deal with you. Okay. Toru Watanabe quickly separated the two of them. If you continue arguing, you'll wake the two aunties up. Don't let the two ladies watch the show. They instantly understood Toru Watanabe's meaning. The two ladies looked at each other and snorted at the same time. One of them sat down to continue reading, and the other returned to the sofa. Toru Watanabe followed Miki Kujo back to the sofa. As soon as he sat down, Mrs. Kujo, who was sleeping on the sofa, kicked his calf. Toru Watanabe looked over. Mrs. Kujo only opened her left eye and glanced at him. Kun Watanabe, it's been hard on you. I feel that he's quite happy and proud, being fought over by Rin and Miki. Mrs. Kiyono opened her right eye. The two of them were still pretending to be asleep. There's no such thing. Toru Watanabe's voice was helpless. For the three of us, I've never thought that I'm popular or have the right to choose. Lies. This sentence was said by Mrs. Kiyono. Don't scare me. Toru Watanabe was really shocked. The mother and daughter's voices were very similar, and Kiyono deliberately imitated Rin Kiyono's speech. In addition, lies was Rin Kiyono's catchphrase. He didn't react for a moment. Then tell me, what do you think? Mrs. Kujo asked. I feel that the three of us, no, the five of us are like 5 gears, independent of each other but influencing each other. We're constantly moving forward on the road of love and life. If this were an anime or a light novel, the development of the story would probably rely on the collision of gears to move forward. In the end, we compromise and care for each other, meshing together in a certain way. In the end, Toru Watanabe concluded. I'm also just a gear. They adapt to me, and I adapt to them. There was a brief silence in the living room. They could hear the faint sound of an advertisement on the television. Hokkaido sea urchin rice, a summer special of 1,500 yen. He said that there are 5 of us. Mrs. Kiyono whispered to Mrs. Kujo so that everyone could hear her. He's too bold. We have to teach him a lesson. How dare he have such thoughts? Mrs. Kujo also whispered back to Mrs. Kiyono. What I said was, forget it. Toru Watanabe was too lazy to explain to the two who were pretending to be stupid. Mrs. Kiyono smiled and got up. She finally stopped pretending to be asleep. Little Rin. She gracefully and charmingly knelt on the back of the sofa and asked the literary girl in front of the floor-to-ceiling window. Is what Kun Watanabe said true? Does he really think that? If he dared to be proud, I would have taught him a lesson, Rin Kiyono said without raising her head. Oh, so he's a coward. Mrs. Kujo suddenly realized. Why would I be afraid of the two of them? That's respect. Toru Watanabe completely ignored the two ladies. He took a grape, peeled off the skin, and revealed the fresh green flesh. He held it to Miki Kujo's mouth. Miki Kujo didn't open her mouth. She glanced at him from the corner of her eyes. Request permission to pick up a classmate at the station in the evening, Toru Watanabe said. Classmate? Classmate isn't important. The important thing is that Senpai Myasahi is inside. I'll come back after sending them to the hotel. You'd better stay here tomorrow. You're only allowed to go out on the last day. Toru Watanabe said that they could go out tomorrow, but Miki Kujo insisted that it was the last day. She wanted to let Masahi know who had the final say. No problem. They cared for each other and understood each other. As long as the condition of going out for a day didn't change, anything else was fine. Only then did Jujomiya open her small mouth and eat the peeled grape. Although it's not rare for rich people to have lovers and play all kinds of tricks outside, I've never seen such harmonious people like you. Mrs. Kiyono clicked her tongue in wonder. It's only limited to the three of us. Miki Kujo chewed the grape. If he dares to touch the four of us. Absolutely not, Toru Watanabe promised. Besides, Miki, you know about the matter between Mai and Koizumi-sensei. What if the same thing happens next time? Will you be forced into a corner again? I won't, I promise. Toru Watanabe didn't accept the system's mission as long as it didn't specify who the target was. He also wouldn't smile at anyone other than the four of them. If it wasn't necessary, he wouldn't say anything. Miki Kujo and the others accommodated him, so he had to strictly restrain himself and pay attention to his words and actions. Little Ling, you have to work harder. There are only 4 months left until the end of the year, Mrs. Kiyono said. I've already occupied his heart and taken his body. 4 months is enough. The black-haired girl's calm tone was full of confidence. At 7 o'clock in the afternoon, Toru Watanabe went to Karuizawa Station. At 7:33, the train carrying Masahi and the others entered the station with the evening wind. Kun Watanabe. Aoi Ichiki waved to him as soon as she passed through the ticket inspection. Toru Watanabe looked at Masahi in the crowd. Her soft and delicate face was as calm as ever. She wore a white dress that revealed her shoulders. While it was sexy, it wasn't revealing at all. Only a little bit of her collarbone could be seen. Her waist was tight, outlining the seductive curves of her body. She wore a light yellow skirt that reached her knees. In her hand was a handbag looking very cool. Toru Watanabe greeted her. Is Tokyo hot? It's so hot that I'm about to die. Aoi Ichiki immediately began to complain. The highest temperature is 35 degrees, the lowest is 29 degrees. How can I live? This is Karuizawa. Yoshimi Tamamo pulled a fashionable suitcase and looked around. I don't see anything, but it's quite cool. Good evening, Kun Watanabe. Asako Hanada greeted him softly. Good evening, Hanada-senpai. Then Toru Watanabe said to Masahi, who had been staring at him since a while ago. In Karuizawa, it's best for girls to wear a thin jacket when going out in the morning and evening. Masahi nodded lightly. Toru Watanabe looked at the handbag in her hand. He thought for a while and didn't reach out to take it. Let's go, I called a taxi. Isn't that expensive? How embarrassing. Aoi Ichiki was surprised. The money is shared by everyone. It's better to take the bus. I want to save more money to shop in Karuizawa. Then let Mai pay for it. She's the senior. Then how? I'll pay. Senpai. My senpai, you don't have to listen to him. We'll share it. Yoshimi Tamamo persuaded. Masahi shook her head lightly and didn't say anything. Once out of the station, looking at the night scenery that was completely different from Tokyo and breathing in the fresh air, the three of them immediately became excited and stopped talking about the fare. They got into the taxi that they called in advance and drove on the plateau under the bright starry sky. They had booked a relatively cheap hotel. For people to a room with 2 bunk beds. They booked 3 nights, 16,000 yen per night. They would check in on the 13th and return to Tokyo after the Yulan Hungry Ghost Festival holiday on the 16th. It was a very small room. The target audience was probably students who didn't have independent finances. It was one of the pleasures of travel to live in a hostel, noisy. Moreover, when they were studying, traveling, and staying with the wind ensemble, everyone slept on a bunk bed. If it was only Masahi by herself, they could have stayed in a better hotel, or even rented a villa. We can finally lie down. I'm so tired. After entering the room, the three of them except Masahi immediately lay down on the bed. They cheered on the baseball team in the morning, and took a bus back to Tokyo from Hyogo Prefecture in the afternoon. When they got home, They packed their luggage and immediately took the Shinkansen to Aizawa. They were exhausted. Rest well today. We'll go shopping tomorrow. Toru Watanabe stood by the window and said. Thank you, Koen Watanabe. Aoi Ichiki waved at him from the top bunk. In the end, Toru Watanabe paid for the fare. Yoshimi Tamamo, who was also sleeping on the top bunk, was lying on the bed playing with her phone. Her lace stockings swayed up and down. Although she snorted, there was no arrogance or disdain. Instead, she seemed happy. Thank you. Asako Hanada, who was sleeping on the bottom bunk of Yoshimi Tamamo, said. We're all classmates and you're girls. You're welcome. Toru Watanabe said. I'll leave first today. You guys have a good rest. Okay. I'll send you. Mayasahi said. I'll go too. Aoi Ichiki sat up. Yamiki-san, you've been tired all day. Have a good rest. Toru Watanabe said. Okay. Aoi Ichiki fell back on the bed. Mayasahi walked out of the room first, and Toru Watanabe closed the door behind her. When he had just closed the door, Linen Asami's soft hands had already pressed on his chest, pushing him against the door that had just been closed. Her thin lips attacked his lips. If Toru Watanabe didn't control his body, he would have made a sound. His back gently leaned against the door, and he tasted her soft lips. Toru Watanabe put his left hand at the intersection of her dress and hugged her slender waist. His right hand kneaded her small, round, and plump buttocks through the soft fabric of her dress. If she took off her dress and underwear, her butt would be so white that he couldn't help but reach out and pinch it. Their lips and teeth intertwined. Mayasahi hugged his neck with both hands, closed her eyes, and immersed herself in it. Toru Watanabe hugged her tighter and enjoyed the fullness of their bodies pressed together. At some point, he let go of Mayasahi's lips and whispered in her white and tender ear. Senpai, I like you. Mayasahi didn't say anything. Her lips were chasing Toru Watanabe's lips, and she didn't want to give him a chance to speak. After capturing Toru Watanabe's lips, she pressed her body hard against Toru Watanabe's. While kissing, she used her body to rub against Toru Watanabe's body. After kissing for a long time, she let go of Toru Watanabe's neck and wanted to do something else. They were in the corridor of the hotel. Tetsumasa Watanabe wanted to stop her, but Mayasahi's finger bone accidentally hit the wooden door of the hotel first. Dong. Did the door ring? Asako Hanada's voice. I didn't hear it. Just by the sound, he knew that Yoshimi Tamamo was immersed in her phone. Senpai, you're back? Aoi Ichiki's voice came down the stairs. Toru Watanabe pulled Mayasahi, who was about to unbutton his pants, and the two of them quickly ran out of the hotel. When they were outside, the air instantly became fresh. In fact, in Carriagings, even if you slept in the bedroom, you could still vaguely smell the fragrance of the plants. However, there was still a difference between indoors and outdoors, and the corridor of this hotel was very narrow. Toru Watanabe and Mayasahi held hands and swayed their hands as they walked towards the villa area. Why did you book a 4-person hotel? Toru Watanabe asked. At the Prince Hotel, and I booked another room. In the night, Mayasahi's delicate charm was even more moving. I'm sorry, I can't accompany you tomorrow. I can't accompany you until the 15th. Okay. Mayasahi's expression was still unreadable, but Toru Watanabe could sense that she wasn't angry. Perhaps it was because they were walking hand in hand in Carriagings, or perhaps it was because of the passionate kiss just now, but at this moment, there was a tranquility that he had never seen before. Toru Watanabe felt the same. If only we could walk like this for the rest of our lives. He sighed. Miki Kujo Mayasahi and Aona Koizumi. When he was alone with one of them, he would more or less feel this way. This was proof of their love for each other. Toru Watanabe, who thought that he was above everyone else, would often feel lucky and satisfied to have the three of them by his side. He had been like this for long enough. If he hadn't met Ling, let's stop here. Toru Watanabe stopped walking. If we go any further, I'll be worried about your way back. Okay. Mayasahi looked at him in the dark. Toru Watanabe really wanted to kiss her, but once he did, it would ignite the explosive desire known as Mayasahi. The two of them would go into a nearby forest. Mayasahi's hands would rest on a tree or her back would be pressed against the trunk. Maybe we'll meet tomorrow. Even if we can't, we can still be together on the 15th. Toru Watanabe still didn't kiss her. Okay. Mayasahi's eyes were so clear that they looked like they were about to drip water. She was still looking at him. You go first. I want to watch you. Toru, go first. Senpai, go first. Toru, go first. Senpai, go first. I want to look at your butt for a while. Mayasahi hesitated for a moment, then turned and walked toward the hotel in the distance. Toru Watanabe looked at her slim back. With his extraordinary eyesight, he wanted to see that she had indeed safely returned to the hotel. When they reached the entrance of the hotel, Mayasahi didn't go in immediately. She looked at Toru Watanabe. Although Mayasahi couldn't see, Toru Watanabe still waved his hand. Although she couldn't see, Mayasahi waved her hand at the same time. She seemed to know that Toru Watanabe was still looking at her in the dark. Chapter 317. In the almost deserted forest, in the depths of the morning fog, the sound of hooves could be heard. As he walked down the mountain-like slope, Toru Watanabe felt like he was marching alone in the vast grassland. The fog was cool, and there was always the sound of birds chirping in his ears. Occasionally, there was the sound of water or other animals moving. After passing by a few uninhabited villas, he came to a birch forest. He gently pulled the reins to the left, and let the horse turn left into a path leading to the villa. On the path, in the misty forest, he vaguely saw a figure. The figure bent down and stared at the plants on the ground. Hearing the sound of horse hooves, the person stood up, glanced over, and hurried back to the villa. Toru Watanabe approached on his horse. The thick fog dispersed, and his vision became clear. He looked down and saw a few beautiful lilies. He got off the horse here, tied the horse to a tree, and walked to the villa hidden in the birch forest. Including the lawn, it covered more than 10,000 square meters, which was very different from the average villa. Toru Watanabe walked forward and saw the lawn in the fog. There were servants clearing the weeds and cleaning the moss. The moss that grew freely elsewhere had to grow in the way the owner liked here. Toru Watanabe came to get the koyaki. The owner of this villa came from Kyoto, and was a friend of Mrs. Kujo. Yesterday he arrived at Carriaging's and specially brought her favorite koyaki from Kyoto Donbwa. You are Toru Watanabe and Miki-san's boyfriend? Nice to meet you, I am Toru Watanabe. Kun Watanabe is as handsome as the rumors say. Not at all. Why are you here so early? It's foggy in the mountains, and your pants will get wet. If you slip and fall somewhere, no one will notice. I rode here. We will also be riding in 2 days. Please take care of us. While chatting with the owner of the villa, Toru Watanabe looked at a corner of the forest. A girl was looking over. It was the one who had been squatting there, and looking at the lily. That's my child. Please take care of her in the coming days. If it's a girl, I can't do anything. Miki has the final say in my family. Really? I'm just a useless live-in son-in-law. Haha, I heard that Kun Watanabe is very talented. After chatting for a while, Toru Watanabe accepted the tonggong yaki from the lady of the villa. When they returned to the place where the horse was tied, it had already eaten the lily. You idiot! Toru Watanabe cursed as he flipped over and mounted him. Let's go. He shook the reins. Why aren't we running? Are we waiting for others to catch us? The horse chewed the lily and galloped merrily into the misty forest. On the way back, the morning mist that enveloped the forest was dispelled by the sun. Passing through the fog and breaking through the blockade of the busy branches, the sun cast pillars of light in the forest. At the end of the pillars of light, there were tree roots, moss and paths reflected in the sunlight. Riding freely in the forest, Toru Watanabe liked this pleasant morning, the cool fog, and the sound of birds chirping. He would never get tired of such a scenery. After returning the horse to the horse farm, they walked back to the villa. Except for Miki Kujo, everyone else was up. Thank you for your hard work. Come here and let me take it. Mrs. Kujo blocked Toru Watanabe at the door, and snatched the tonggong yaki away. We agreed that I would take it every day, and the 4 of you would take turns. Xiaolian can do whatever she wants. Why am I the only one left in the morning since a few days ago? Mrs. Kujo ignored the complaining Toru Watanabe. Chestnuts, red bean paste, white jade. When she walked to the dining table and put down the box of tonggonyaki, she had already chosen her favorite chestnuts and white jade flavor. Is it that good? Mrs. Kiyono felt that she was making a fuss over nothing. You'll know after you try it. This is the taste of my childhood. You take it all every time. At least give me one. No. After rejecting Mrs. Kiyono, Kujo thought about it and gave one of the two flavors to Xiaolian. Seeing that you're a child, I'll take special care of you, she said. Thank you very much. Xiaolian hugged the smaller Toriyuki to her chest and bowed obediently. What about me, dear mother? Toru Watanabe changed his shoes and walked in. My clothes and hair are wet from the fog. Am I not getting any? There. Mrs. Kujo pointed to the leftover portion on the table. August 14th. Breakfast was the tonggonyaki that Toru Watanabe brought back from the fog. When Miki Kujo woke up, it was almost noon. Everyone decided to eat outside, and then go to the art gallery to take a look. Kuin Watanabe, I hope that this visit will let you know your painting level. Mrs. Kujo rode her bicycle briskly on a sunny forest path. Am I not good at painting? Toru Watanabe said loudly. I'm willing to pay 1 million to buy the painting Rin Kiyono in the Lightwell Lake. You're referring to the one that you nominated but Miki painted? Mrs. Kiyono's voice was melodious. Your logic is very problematic. Since I nominated it, naturally it was painted by me. It was drawn by Meiji. How could I nominate it? I'm still willing to do this kind of thing. Miki Kujo was wearing a handsome baseball cap with her hair coiled inside. Today she was going for the cool and fashionable route. No matter what route she took, Toru Watanabe wanted to hug her 3 times. Miki, you're the best to me. Today I'll only treat you to lunch. Don't change the topic, we're talking about your painting skills. Mrs. Kujo said with dissatisfaction. Someone please pay for the portrait rights first. Rin Kiyono was wearing a sun hat. The blue ribbon on the hat was blown back by the wind. Miki, she's talking to you. I'm talking about you so-and-so classmate. 1 billion, please transfer it to my account. Aunt Kiyono. Toru Watanabe shouted at Mrs. Kiyono in front of him. Your family became rich by extortion, right? Yes. If you have bad debts, the best lawyers will deal with you. In the midst of laughter, the bicycle passed through the shade of green trees. After lunch without meeting my Asahi, Toru Watanabe was taken to an art gallery by his mother-in-law who disliked him. In the gallery, there were naked women and cats hanging on the walls. Fujita CG? After looking at a few, Toru Watanabe immediately asked Rin Kiyono. Yes. Rin Kiyono was not interested in naked women, he only stared at the cats. You don't know? You know because the women in the paintings are naked. Anyway, it's not because you learned how to paint. Rin Kiyono said with certainty. Even you guess wrong sometimes, Rosen-san. Toru Watanabe's voice was very happy. Then how do you know about Fujita CG? Mrs. Kujo turned around and asked. Because of my teacher, Picasso. Huh. Miki Kujo was not the only one who was confused. Toru Watanabe did not care at all and continued. It is said that at Fujita CG's first solo exhibition in Paris, Picasso lingered for more than 3 hours. Lies. Actually, it was to learn how to make Miki happy. I learned about the views of various masters on women. Fujita CG was one of them. What do you learn all day long? In the future, without my permission, you are not allowed to read these kinds of books. Miki Kujo ordered. I'm curious about what Fujita CG said? Mrs. Kiyono asked. Fujita said, women and cats are the same creatures. When night comes, their eyes shine. Although they look cute and sensible, if you don't pay attention, you will completely forget all the kindness and easily betray your master. Just by listening to these words, you can tell that he is a person who does things arrogantly and lives crazily. Rin Kiyono said. As expected of Dora A, but the eyes shine at night point, I agree very much. Toru Watanabe said the last sentence to Miki Kujo. Same to you. I am a woman. You are a cat. Our eyes shine together at night. Miki Kujo said with a smile. Toru Watanabe looked at the back of her white neck with her hair tied up, and decided to let her lie on the bed tonight, while he lay on her back and kissed her there. Fujita Shiji's naked woman on the wall, he did not feel anything, but Miki Kujo's exposed skin made his heart warm. The women in Fujita Shiji's paintings all had skin like ivory. This made the Western beauties with bad skin in the paintings have some charm of Eastern women. Rin Kiyono stared at one of the paintings. There was only a cat lying on its side in the painting. The whites of its eyes were yellow, the pupils were black, and the cat's face was a little like a white fox. The name of the painting was simple and straightforward, White Cat. Including the frame, $300,000. The female owner who was walking around the gallery said. Yes. Rin Kiyono nodded. If you like it, you can buy it and have it sent back to Tokyo. You don't have to worry about the trouble of bringing it back. Mrs. Kiyono said. It's not that I like it, I just remembered something. What is it? I don't remember you having a cat. Something about the time I spent with Watanabe classmate. In the gallery, Rin stared at a painting of a white cat. This is confession in the gallery. Mrs. Kiyono's tone was very much like a female artist's. It can be in the same series as my Rin Kiyono in the Lightwell Lake. Toru Watanabe, who was walking around with Miki Kujo just now, came over and said, the series name is The Year I Turned 17. Don't think that you can make fun of me just because you are the closest person to me. Rin Kiyono looked at the two of them coldly. This kind of threat would only make the person being threatened happy, other than deciding how to reflect light in their eyes at night. They finished walking around the art exhibition without anything else. The five of them went shopping at Outback and bought some clothes. After having dinner there, they carried big and small bags and went to the Spring Elm balcony. The Spring Elm balcony was the entrance to Hoshino Resort. It was a small wooden street hidden in the forest. There were more than 100 spring elms planted here, but there were only 9 buildings in total. It wouldn't take much time even if they walked around carefully in each shop. But because there were so few buildings, they could slow down and relax. Toru Watanabe and the other 4 came here at night because of the summer concert. They ordered some snacks and their favorite drinks, and sat on the balcony by the water. When does it start? Toru Watanabe dipped fries in ketchup. On the table in front of him, there was a glass bottle of Coke. Cool drops of water gradually appeared on the bottle. It's here. Miki Kujo pointed somewhere. When the hustle and bustle of the day quieted down, the musicians took the stage with violins, accordions and guitars, and presented the tourists with beautiful music limited to the summer night. The sky darkened, revealing the clear starry sky of the Karajings Plateau. The 9 buildings of the Spring Elm balcony were all lit up with bright yellow lights, illuminating the small Spring Elm balcony. The 5 of them listened to the music, ate and chatted. Occasionally, they would be distracted by the fireflies on the stream by the balcony. Wow, Spring Elm balcony? It looks like the place where the elves live in the forest. Look, they are performing. I saw it in the TV series Quartet before. Youthful and lively voices came from below the balcony. Toru Watanabe looked in the direction of the voice. 4 girls stopped the bicycle rental shop and hurried over. Mayasahi subconsciously looked at the balcony and met Toru Watanabe's eyes across the elm tree. Miki Kujo and Rin Kiyono, who were beside him, naturally noticed his seemingly accidental gaze and looked at the 4 girls at the same time. There are no more seats. Aoi Ichiki said regretfully. Many people are standing and watching. We also. Someone wants to leave. Someone wants to get a seat. Yoshimi Tamamo rushed over and snatched a seat. Sorry. She smiled proudly at the other tourists who also wanted to snatch a seat but failed. She then shouted to the other 3. Senpai Kue, come here. So beautiful. You are amazing. Aoi Ichiki ran over. Senpai Mai, let's go too. Asako Hanada shouted to Mayasahi, who was at the back. Okay. Mayasahi retracted her gaze from Toru Watanabe and followed Asako Hanada. That's Koen Watanabe's lover. Mrs. Kujo also noticed the situation. She is quite a beautiful girl. Mrs. Kiyono commented. Kujio Miki sneered and snorted disdainfully. She picked up the juice and drank it. The 2 sides didn't interact and didn't even greet each other. After a few songs, My Asahi suddenly walked over. The 5 of them looked at her, especially the 2 ladies, who seemed to be enjoying the show. My Asahi didn't show any expression. When she got closer, my Asahi didn't look for Toru Watanabe. Instead, she looked at Miki Kujo and said, "Miki-san, can I have a word with you?" "Go ahead." Miki Kujo put down her juice and hugged her elbows. "Thank you for letting Toru accompany me for a day. As long as you know that he is mine." "Okay." My Asahi nodded lightly. "Toru wanted to kill me because he rejected me, but I can't live without Toru. If it wasn't for this, Toru wouldn't have done anything to let you down. I'm sorry." Miki Kujo glanced at her. She heard this from Toru Watanabe, but it felt different when it came from my Asahi's mouth. Looking at my Asahi's expression, even if she said this, her expression was still calm. Miki Kujo understood my Asahi's character from Toru Watanabe. She didn't really want to apologize. She didn't have that kind of emotion. She just used her smart enough brain to do something that wouldn't cause trouble for Toru Watanabe. She didn't want to cause trouble for Toru Watanabe. Everything she did was to be with Toru Watanabe. "I don't care about you at all. It's because of Watanabe that I allow you to exist." After that, Miki Kujo waved her hand, indicating that my Asahi could leave. My Asahi nodded and said to Toru Watanabe, "Toru, good night." "Good night, senpai," Toru Watanabe responded. After my Asahi left, Mrs. Kujo took a sip of whiskey. "This girl is a bit interesting. Well, Miki must feel a little better." Mrs. Kiyono drank beer. "Their love is terrible. It's a psychological battle. Yuko, don't deliberately instigate." Mrs. Kujo put down her glass. "Miki has already admitted the current situation. Just live well. Hehe, that won't do." "It's not my Ling who won. Mother, I don't need such means." Toru Watanabe looked at Miki Kujo. Miki Kujo impatiently stared at him and frowned. "What are you looking at? It's night. Let's see if your eyes will shine." "The last song. Please sing with us." In front, a musician with a guitar shouted. The sound of the guitar was a song that the whole Japan was familiar with. At the closing ceremony of the 1964 Tokyo Olympics, this song ended the Olympic ceremony. It was also the closing song of the Red and White Song Festival. "My light. The light of the fireflies, the snow on the window." The time of studying accumulates day by day. Everyone hummed in a low voice, including the wives. Summer was like an extinguished street lamp. It was one day closer to the end. Chapter 318. On August 15th, after Xiaolian went out, Mrs. Kujo suddenly wanted to play mahjong. "Koen Watanabe, you don't have to go out now, do you?" She knew that Toru Watanabe was going to accompany my Asahi today, so she asked. "At least wait for Miki to wake up and let me know. Then please move the table to the balcony. I want to play mahjong there." After that, Mrs. Kujo said to the black-haired girl, "Rin, you come too." "Okay." At that time, Rin Kiyono was about to read a book about the Karuizawa murder case. Toru Watanabe went to move the mahjong table, and Mrs. Kiyono followed him. "I'll help." The 2 of them carried one side of the table and moved it to the balcony of the villa that was bathed in the morning light. "Move aside, don't touch it. This is quite heavy," Mrs. Kiyono said to her daughter who was blocking the entrance to the balcony. When Rin Kiyono moved aside, Mrs. Kiyono suddenly remembered something and said, "I almost forgot about the morning coffee." After that, she let go of her hand and went straight to the kitchen. The mahjong table that seemed to be carried by 2 people was still level. "I knew she didn't help," Mrs. Kujo said proudly. "Koen Watanabe, now you know which mother loves you the most." "Auntie Jinji, you said you wanted to play mahjong and asked him to move the table to the balcony," Rin Kiyono calmly reminded her. "It's fun to play mahjong with some stakes, but gambling is boring. No, it's forbidden by law. What should I bet on?" Mrs. Kujo was lost in thought. "I say," Toru Watanabe, who was holding the mahjong table, said, "Can one of you take away the rattan table and rattan chair on the balcony?" Mrs. Kujo, who was lost in thought, and Rin Kiyono, who was standing there with her arms crossed, looked at Toru Watanabe, who was standing still, and the rattan table and rattan chair on the balcony. They finally started to move. Toru Watanabe smelled the scent of the mahjong table and watched the two of them slowly play. Everything was ready. As soon as he sat down, Kujo Masakazu had another opinion. No. She pointed to the seat opposite her. Kun Watanabe, you sit there. Toru Watanabe finally reacted. When he sat down, he naturally faced Rin Kiyono. If you dare to move, I'll go back to Tokyo right now. Mrs. Kiyono threatened in the tone of a girlfriend. You can go back to Tokyo. Do you think Kun Watanabe cares about you? Mrs. Kujo curled her lips and said disdainfully. Let's bet on that. Toru Watanabe began to draw the cards. Whoever wins can order the other three to do a small thing that is not difficult. That's a good idea. Mrs. Kujo nodded. I'll state my conditions first. Mrs. Kiyono said. As long as I win, the person who lit the boobs will take off one of their clothes. If they touch themselves, all three of you will have to do it. Simple trivial thing, right? She directly ignored the trivial part. Including the underwear, I have 4 pieces. Mrs. Kujo was full of confidence. That's not fair. I have the least amount of clothes. Toru Watanabe said. Watanabe-san. Rin Kiyono stretched out her slender white wrist and grabbed the last 2 tiles. If you don't want to go to the police station, you'd better rein in your lewd thoughts. How could I do that kind of thing? 20,000. Eat. Mrs. Kiyono put down the coffee cup she had just picked up and put Toru Watanabe's 20,000 together with her own 30,000 and 40,000. For cylinders. When it was Rin Kiyono's turn to play, Toru Watanabe continued. If I win, the person who lit the boobs will go indoors and put on one of their clothes. If they touch themselves, all 3 of you will have to wear it. How about this? You Z and I win, we'll take off our clothes. You and Little Ling win. You'll have to wear your clothes. Mrs. Kujo said and threw out a tile. South wind. In the next round, Toru Watanabe touched his tile. Touch 3 sides, big 3 yuan and 4 dark engravings. Toru Watanabe pushed down his tile. If I had known, I would have taken the stripper side. That was close. Mrs. Kiyono patted her exquisite chest. Fortunately, it wasn't. I almost had to take off my clothes. I don't care. Today's underwear is very sexy. But it's only 1 round. Mrs. Kujo confirmed Toru Watanabe's tile. As a man, you're too fast. If you don't want to go to the police station, don't say obscene things. Also go and put on your clothes. The 3 of them went back to the house, and Toru Watanabe took the opportunity to go back to the bedroom. 2 minutes after he returned to the terrace, the 3 of them came out. The 2 ladies were fine with anything. Toru Watanabe looked at Rin Kiyono. No one changed. What's going on? Safety pants. In the second round, it was the 9th round. Sorry, touch yourself. Toru Watanabe pushed down his tile. Upright, first shot, touch yourself in front of the door. Got it. Hurry up and play the next round. No, you go and put on your clothes first. This time, Rin Kiyono still didn't change. I'd like to see how many pairs of safety pants I can wear. Toru Watanabe was full of fighting spirit. The 2 ladies went back for the second round and changed into skirts and safety pants. In the third round, Toru Watanabe, Mrs. Kiyono, and Rin Kiyono played. Wait a minute, draw. Toru Watanabe pushed down his tile. Scholar is unparalleled, thank you. Rin Kiyono glanced at him. You didn't cheat? The machine shuffled the cards. How could I cheat? I was just lucky. The 3 of them came back, still wearing their safety pants. In the 4th round. Round 16. Toru Watanabe. Draw. Round 17. Draw. Toru Watanabe. Draw again. Round 18. Draw. Toru Watanabe. Draw yourself. When the 3 of them came out, Toru Watanabe narrowed his eyes. What's wrong, Kun Watanabe? Mrs. Kujo sat down gracefully. Wearing 4 pairs of safety pants, I feel like I'm sitting on a cushion. Mrs. Kiyono sat on the chair, twisting her butt. In the 5th round. Lift up your skirts for me to see. Toru Watanabe looked at the 3 of them, who still didn't change. So you're this kind of person. Mrs. Kiyono couldn't believe it. I don't believe that I can't see any changes after wearing 5 pairs. Now, immediately lift up your skirts for me to see. It's not appropriate for a son-in-law to ask his mother-in-law to do this kind of thing, Kuin Watanabe. Mrs. Kujo touched her face. I'll give you a chance, go back and wear it now. Or you have to lift. Watanabe. Miki Kujo's voice came from the room. Here. Miki Kujo walked to the balcony in her sexy and tight pajamas. Did you see my ring? It's with me. Toru Watanabe took out the ring from his pocket. Miki Kujo reached out and took it. She put it on her left hand while looking at Toru Watanabe and said, Are you regretting it? You don't want to give it to me anymore? On the contrary, I took off the ring because I did it for you. I told you tonight, but now you have to do me a favor. What favor? Ask your mother and Auntie Kiyono to lift up their skirts. Say it again, I don't think I heard you clearly. Miki Kujo grabbed Toru Watanabe's ear. Teach him a lesson, Mrs. Kujo said. Impudent, always thinking of dirty things. Whether it's taking off your clothes or putting them on. You didn't intend to follow the rules in the first place. Despicable. Toru Watanabe, whose ear was being grabbed, shouted. How can a mother and son-in-law play strip mahjong? Mrs. Kiyono said matter-of-factly. Kiyono-san, I reminded you. When? Toru Watanabe was surprised. If you don't want to go to the police station, stop thinking dirty thoughts. Such a tactful reminder? Isn't that the usual way to taunt people? It's a taunt, but it's also a reminder. Rin Kiyono showed a gentle smile. I'm now curious about the ring. Taking off my clothes? Miki Kujo pulled Toru Watanabe's head in front of her face. How dare you agree to play such an interesting game? Miki, listen to me. After Miki Kujo got up, she replaced Toru Watanabe. I'm going to buy today's ingredients, you guys have fun. Toru Watanabe said. Everyone knew that he was going to find my Asahi, but he said that he was going to buy ingredients because he didn't want to make Miki Kujo feel uncomfortable. Go. Miki Kujo waved her hand. Toru Watanabe, without a jacket, disappeared into the woods. You didn't clean him up last night? Mrs. Kujo asked her daughter as she laid mahjong tiles. I tried my best, but maybe it's impossible. I touched myself. Wait. Rin Kiyono looked at Miki Kujo's ring. Take it off first. Jealous? Miki Kujo raised her hand, the back of her white hand facing Rin Kiyono. I'm talking to you about playing mahjong. I'm asking if you're jealous. Toru Watanabe is now looking for another woman. There are 30 days in a month, so it's not bad to not be together for 2 days. You don't understand. You won't understand the novelty of something. A short separation is good for maintaining a relationship. You're quite good at comforting yourself. Even looking for a lover can be said like that. Looking for someone like my Asahi or Aono Koizumi, Watanabe doesn't need to look for you. Stop it. Mrs. Kiyono quickly stopped her. Don't hurt each other anymore, just play mahjong happily. If you two work together, it'll be easy to deal with Kuin Watanabe. Mrs. Kujo laughed. Why do you have to oppose each other and give him a chance? I don't have any objections. Rin Kiyono looked at Miki Kujo. Do you want to work together? You didn't want those two to stay by Watanabe's side in the first place, so of course you don't have any objections. Miki Kujo said. But that's what I owe Watanabe. You're just afraid of giving up your only advantage. Rin Kiyono said nonchalantly. Who told me to owe him? If it weren't for the previous incident, I would have gotten rid of those too long ago. No, if it weren't for the previous incident, Watanabe would have dealt with them himself. He wouldn't have done anything to hurt me. Do you admit that? If you didn't do anything to hurt him, he would be with you. Before Rin Kiyono could finish, she was interrupted by Mrs. Kiyono again. Rin Kiyono closed her cherry blossom-colored mouth. Consider working together. Mrs. Kujo said in a very casual tone. Haven't you ever thought about the three of you being together happily? Yuko and I won't have any objections to this matter. Even if you two daughters can become a family? Mrs. Kiyono said with a smile as if she was really chatting. Mrs. Kujo continued in a leisurely tone. Then every year can be like this year. The 5 of you can go on vacation together with the 3 of your children, just like Xiaolian. How happy would that be? Yuko and I won't have to worry about being lonely in our old age. Miki Kujo and Rin Kiyono acted as if they didn't hear anything, naturally picking and laying the cards. There was no expression on the two most beautiful faces in the world. My Asahi wouldn't waste time touring carriagings. When Toru Watanabe arrived at the room she booked at the Prince Hotel, she had already taken a shower and was waiting for him in a bathrobe. As soon as he entered, my Asahi immediately pressed herself against him. She tilted her neck slightly and offered her lips. Senior Mai. Toru Watanabe stroked her plump and slender body through the thin bathrobe. On the bed, he untied the thin belt of the bathrobe, and my Asahi's naked front directly entered Toru Watanabe's eyes. It was snow white, except for the grass that was full of endless secrets. Toru Watanabe admired it for a while until my Asahi couldn't help but wrap her arms around his neck and pull him into her arms. While the two kissed, Toru Watanabe stroked every part of her snow-white and soft body. The fiery battle lasted for a long time before it ended. My Asahi stood up and stood by the window to tie up her hair. When she was about to go to the bathroom to take a shower, Toru Watanabe realized that the bathrobe had been hanging on her body all this time. After such a long time and so intense, how did the bathrobe survive? Was it because she was so engrossed that she forgot to take it off? Che, do you want to take a shower together? My Asahi turned around and asked. You take a shower first. Okay. My Asahi tied up her hair and walked into the bathroom. Toru Watanabe heard the sound of the bathrobe being taken off and the sound of water washing soft skin. He waited for my Asahi to come out of the bathroom before he went in to take a shower. After a simple shower, he dried himself and walked out. My Asahi was lying on the bed with the quilt over her. Toru Watanabe walked over and gently lifted the quilt, exposing her naked body to the air. Toru Watanabe put his knees on the edge of the bed and climbed on top of her, his knees on both sides of her body. My Asahi reached out and pulled the quilt over Toru Watanabe's back. Toru Watanabe slowly leaned over and buried his face on the left side of my Asahi's face. He used every part of his body to feel her silky smooth skin. The two of them were face to face. My Asahi gently stroked Toru Watanabe's back. Senior Mai. Yes. What excuse did you use to come out? I wanted to walk around alone. My Asahi spread her legs and formed an M shape. That's it. Yes. He didn't know if my Asahi was answering or sighing. I forgot. I don't care about anything when I'm alone. It's not difficult to walk around alone. I care about you. My Asahi wrapped her legs around Toru Watanabe's waist. I won't give up only on you. Do you eat on time? Sometimes I don't eat breakfast. What about lunch and dinner? Do you eat with Koizumi-sensei? Most of the time, with Hanada and the others. Do you practice the oboe and cook? Yes. For me, you have to live a good life. I will. After my Asahi took a long breath, Toru Watanabe got off her and lay on her right hand. He turned my Asahi slightly, so that her back was facing him. My Asahi let out a soft, ah, and the two of them were inseparable again. Why did you take the initiative to look for Miki last night? Toru Watanabe's hand reached under her slippery arm. I wanted to walk in and see Toru. Toru Watanabe stopped and asked her, didn't you want to let Miki get Miki's forgiveness? It's okay. My Asahi's delicate and beautiful face was always emotionless and looked very soft. But her heart was unexpectedly strong. In the past, she was strong because of emptiness. Everything was good and she could do anything. Now, she was strong because of love that wanted nothing else. Toru Watanabe bit her snow-white, slender neck and sucked hard. When he left, there was already a mark that belonged to him. Senior Mai, you will always be mine. Yes. My Asahi gently touched the kiss mark. It was a very obvious spot, especially in summer when she was wearing cool clothes and would definitely be seen. Asako Hanada and the others ask you. Just tell them that I did it. Toru. Yes. You're so good to me. It's so scary to only pursue what you want. Toru Watanabe felt that his love for my Asahi was gradually deepening, and he couldn't help but say. At that moment, he went against his promise of there's a depth of love, but when I'm with someone, I'll focus on that person. For a moment his mind wandered. But he immediately collected all his thoughts from the starry sky of the Pacific Ocean, and hugged my Asahi tightly. Senior Mai, live well. I'll be with you. Yes. My Asahi held Toru Watanabe's hand tightly on her lower abdomen. Chapter 319. Toru Watanabe returned to the villa at 3 o'clock in the afternoon with a few bags of things. The heavy mahjong table was still basking in the sun on the villa's balcony, but the people playing mahjong were gone. In the yard, the hammock between the two chestnut trees swayed. The shadows of the leaves fell into the hammock, and the people in the hammock were awake. Fortunately, it's not autumn, Toru Watanabe thought to himself. When the time came, in addition to the sun and the shade, there would also be ripe chestnuts with a spiky shell. Good afternoon, miss, he said. Good afternoon, sir. Miss Kiyono's cold voice was as transparent and dazzling as the sun shining on ice. She was also like a piece of ice basking in the sun. Toru Watanabe walked up the steps and pushed the door into the villa. Only Mrs. Kujo was in the living room, watching TV. Not up yet? Toru Watanabe asked. Usually at this time, everyone in the villa finished their afternoon nap. Soon. Mrs. Kujo was just saying when Mrs. Kiyono came out of the room, scratching her delicate short hair. Kun Watanabe is back? She greeted leisurely. Yes. Toru Watanabe opened the refrigerator and put the ingredients in. I bought edamame. I don't know if you like it with wine. I'll be satisfied with some cold tofu. Mrs. Kujo patted her hand on the sofa's armrest, looking relaxed as if she had already drunk. Kun Watanabe, Mrs. Kiyono said, it's your first time making it, so just make it simple. Tender tofu with bonito powder and Kun Watanabe soy sauce. I'll make it. Toru Watanabe stopped stuffing the yam into the refrigerator. We helped you a lot today. Mrs. Kujo looked over with a smile. We proposed that little Ling and Mickey be with you and described the future to them. The future? Toru Watanabe asked curiously. Every year will be like this year, a family trip, and there will be children in the future, just like Xiaolian. Isn't such a future good? It's good for the three of us, but not necessarily for them. I can see that although they didn't say anything, they also feel that such a future is not unacceptable. Mrs. Kujo said, and in the future, the Kujo and Kiyono's families are equivalent to a family, and they can keep their own names. Most importantly, Toru Watanabe looked at her. Maybe you can make them reconcile? Smart with her thin, SSSSS with hers SSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSSssss. He could cook dinner for 5 people. If he started at 3 o'clock, it would already be dinner time. What? Mrs. Kiyono rested her elbows on the table in front of the kitchen counter, and rested her chin on the back of her hand. Kun Watanabe doesn't seem to agree? What's the specific method? We can't expect them to reconcile on their own. Of course it's up to you, Mrs. Kujo said. With yours, even ours wives would like you. It's definitely not a problem for you to get them to submit to you. I understand this. Toru Watanabe nodded. This is the way of capitalists. What's this? Purely in order to order someone around, they praise him, say he's talented, and treat anyone as a pawn. The two ladies laughed in unison. A little, but not all. Mrs. Kiyono winked at Toru Watanabe like a fashionable girl. What are you talking about? Miki Kujo came downstairs stretching. Without waiting for the two ladies to answer, she asked Toru Watanabe, when did you come back? It's been a while. He just came back before you came downstairs. Madam? Mrs. Kujo? How can I make her like you like me like this? But I didn't expect you to come back in the afternoon. I thought you would spend the night outside, Mrs. Kujo said. Why would I do that? Toru Watanabe said. Whether it's now or in the future, Mickey is at home. I have to come back no matter how late it is. If I didn't know better, I would have thought you were very affectionate. Mrs. Kiyono sneered. I'm a responsible scumbag. After confessing, Toru Watanabe turned to Miki Kujo and said, I'll cook dinner today. What do you want to eat? I'll cook everything for you. We forced me to cook dinner, not because I wanted to cook for you. Mrs. Kiyono. Even if the three of you are together, there are only 2 people who can register as marriage class, Mrs. Kiyono said innocently. I have to let my little Rin's name appear on it. You're thinking too far ahead. Mickey, help me wash the vegetables. Or you can just do it, and I'll do it for you. I can wash the vegetables very cleanly. Do I look like I know how to cook? It doesn't matter. As long as Mickey cooks, I'll finish it all. Without waiting for Miki Kujo to refuse, Toru Watanabe took an apron and put it on her. The rope was tied into a beautiful bow on her tight waist. Kuin Watanabe, don't be lazy. If you let her do it, you might die. Mrs. Kujo was full of distrust for her daughter. Maiche, Miki Kujo began to roll up her sleeves, and her snow-white wrist gradually revealed. Wash the vegetables. Yes, my head chef. As soon as my Asahi returned to the hotel, she immediately lay down on the bed and fell asleep. When she woke up, it was already dark. Yoshimi Tamamo and the other 2 were sitting on the other bunk bed and chatting softly. This photo is so beautiful. The waterfall and people are so clear. I want to send it to Instagram. Look at this photo of Yunchang Lake. The lake is perfectly symmetrical. It's so beautiful. Koei, so beautiful. Can I send this photo? Let me see. It'll be cuter if it goes up the dog's nose. My Asahi lay on the bed and looked at them for a while. In her mind, she was still thinking about the touch of Toru Watanabe during the day. His hot breath on her face, neck, and chest. From her shoulder to her back, from back to waist, she kept stroking his body. The fullness, satisfaction, and comfort when the 2 of them melted into one. Senpai. Aoi Ichiki looked over. You're awake? Have you had dinner? Yes. After thinking for a while, she said, lunch. Here's the bread and juice I brought back. Asako Hanada took out a bag from her bag, got off the bed, and handed it to my Asahi. Thank you. My Asahi supported herself on the bed and sat up. Senpai, where did you go today? Aoi Ichiki asked. Prince Hotel. I saw it on the internet. It said that the wooden house there is very beautiful at night. Yoshimi Tamamo said cheerfully as she twirled her hair with her fingers. Really? I should have gone last night. Unfortunately, we're going back to Tokyo tomorrow. I feel like I haven't even started yet. Aoi Ichiki said regretfully. Senpai, my Asako Hanada looked at my Asahi, who was taking small bites of bread. My Asahi, who had a calm expression on her face, tilted her head slightly to express her confusion. Nothing. Asako Hanada lowered her head. Senpai, my Yoshimi Tamamo suddenly screamed and sat up. Other than my Asahi, the other 2 were shocked. Senpai, my, I think you've been bitten by an insect here. Yoshimi Tamamo pointed to the right side of her neck. Wait for me. Before anyone could look at where my Asahi was bitten, Yoshimi Tamamo had already climbed onto the top bunk with her round butt in the air. There are a lot of insects in the forest. I specially brought some medicine. She said proudly. You're so beautiful. You're exposed. Aoi Ichiki teased. She didn't have any feelings for other girls' bodies, but she liked my senpai only. Was this considered a lesbian? You're so annoying, don't look. Tamamo Maumi protested symbolically and didn't care about her dress. She took the medicine and sat beside my Asahi's bed. Senpai, I'll apply the medicine for you. Let me. Aoi Ichiki got off the bed nimbly. No need. My Asahi looked at the medicine in Yoshimi Tamamo's hand. Thank you. Why? Yoshimi Tamamo was puzzled. I want it to stay longer. The 3 of them looked at each other, not knowing what my Asahi was thinking. My Asahi continued eating her bread. Her long hair covered her neck as she moved. On the morning of the 16th, the 4 of them packed their things and waited for Toru Watanabe to send them to the train station. I want to go to Ginza Karuizawa again. Yoshimi Tamamo was dressed beautifully for summer. She was lying on the bed, looking at her phone and kicking her legs. Shopping isn't important. The main thing is that it's cool. Asako Hanada said softly. Ah, Aoi Ichiki wailed. We have to go back to that stove in Tokyo. It's 36 degrees Celsius today, and we have to practice immediately. As she spoke, she began to pretend to cry. It would be great if we could stay in Karuizawa for training. Asako Hanada's voice was filled with yearning. Hey. Yoshimi Tamamo poked her head out from the top bunk. There's a music hall in Karuizawa. Can the school organize us to train here? It'll be another 3 days. That's right. Aoi Ichiki immediately agreed. Training in a remote area with cool temperatures will definitely be more effective than training in the base. A remote area? Asako Hanada hesitated. The school won't agree to it, right? The accommodation in Karuizawa is already expensive, not to mention it's the tourist season. I don't care. I want to train in Karuizawa. I want to train in Karuizawa. Aoi Ichiki hugged her pillow coquettishly. Knock, knock, knock. There was a gentle knock on the door, and the room quieted down. Koen Watanabe? Aoi Ichiki asked. It's me. Can I come in? Toru Watanabe's voice was heard from outside the door. It was a voice that would make any woman happy. Yoshimi Tamamo quickly changed her position so that her bra, which had been exposed when she poked her head out, would be hidden. Toru Watanabe pushed the door open and walked in. He glanced at Mayasahi, who was sitting quietly on the edge of the bed, and then looked at the 4 people's luggage by the window. The taxi is ready. Let's go, he said. Koen Watanabe. Aoi Ichiki hugged her pillow and moved to the edge of the bed. She asked Toru Watanabe, who was standing on the ground. Can you ask the school to train in Karuizawa? I can't. Okay. Aoi Ichiki said dejectedly, but then she comforted herself. Luckily, Senior Mai agreed to train with us. Senior Mai is going too? Toru Watanabe asked Mayasahi. Yes. Mayasahi looked at him with her clear eyes. I want to train in Karuizawa too. I'll try. Toru Watanabe took his phone and walked to the corridor. Do you think it'll work? Aoi Ichiki asked. That guy is Miki Kujo's boyfriend. Maybe it'll work, Yoshimi Tamamo said disdainfully. Itsuki suddenly sat up and jumped down from the top bunk. She ran to the door and listened to Toru Watanabe's conversation. Asako Hanada also couldn't help but run over to eavesdrop. Yoshimi Tamamo continued to play with her phone, but her gaze was always on Aoi Ichiki and the others. Yes, I'll pay for it. The school will take care of the school bus. Starting from the 16th. Have lunch and return to Tokyo on the 19th. Yay! Before Toru Watanabe could finish, Aoi Ichiki had already shouted. Did it work? Yoshimi Tamamo immediately turned her head and asked. Yes. Asako Hanada answered excitedly. That's great. Yoshimi Tamamo jumped off the bed and danced hand in hand with Aoi Ichiki and Asako Hanada. Toru Watanabe hung up the phone and saw a scene that looked like a bonfire party. Koen Watanabe, thank you. Aoi Ichiki happily bowed to Toru Watanabe. Koen Watanabe, thank you. Asako Hanada was also very excited. Yoshimi Tamamo opened her suitcase and happily prepared to take out the things that she had just packed. No need. Toru Watanabe stopped her. This hotel can't accommodate 55 people. Then where are we going? You're not humming anymore. She was surprisingly naive. I've already contacted the hotel. U2 Ruiro Hotel has tatami rooms that can accommodate 6 people. Even so, it's still more spacious than this. Oh right. Aoi Ichiki suddenly said. Koen Watanabe, I think I just heard you say that you'll be paying for all the accommodations this time. How can that be? Asako Hanada quickly said. If there are 6 people in a room, we can all have flat beds. That's very cheap. You're welcome. After all, the performance department is a subordinate department of the human observation department. Who said that? Yoshimi Tamamo was unhappy. Our department head Kiyono said that. Yoshimi Tamamo's lips that were painted with lip gloss moved. Finally she said, that's a joke, Asako Hanada said. If the school organizes training at Carriaging's, we can ask our parents to pay for it. That's not easy, Toru Watanabe said. The principal agreed because I promised to pay. Not all parents are willing to pay. Some parents even think that it's impossible to train properly in a holiday resort. They'll only reluctantly agree to let their children come if it's free. But, don't worry. To me this amount of money is nothing. Toru Watanabe interrupted. There's no better way to spend money than to make Senior Mai happy with this amount of money. There was also the consultant of the performance department and the human observation department, Aona Koizumi. She would be happy too. Due to the large number of people, U2 Ruiro Hotel gave a special price. One room for one night was 150,000 yuan, 3 nights were 450,000 yuan, and 10 rooms for 55 people were 5 million yuan. 5 million yuan could make the two of them happy. How could Toru Watanabe not do this deal? Of course, there were also the 3 meals and the money to rent the concert hall, but those were good enough. Make Senior Mai happy? Aoi Ichiki repeated this sentence. Toru Watanabe looked at her puzzled face and asked Mai Asahi, Senior, you didn't tell them? They didn't ask. What's going on? Yoshimi Tamamo said impatiently. Nothing. Toru Watanabe didn't say it in the end. Aoi Ichiki stared at him suspiciously. On the other side, Asako Hanada was already clenching her fists. She could hit him at any moment. Let's go. The 3 of you can choose the room you like first. Toru Watanabe changed the topic. There are 10 rooms in total, and not all of them have good views. The 3 girls were excited to stay in carriagings and looked forward to choosing a room. When they arrived at the U2 Ruiro Hotel, Toru Watanabe asked the 3 girls to follow the waiter to choose a room. Senior Mai has already graduated, so she can't stay with you. I'll take her to a private room. Go. Yoshimi Tamamo was attracted by the hotel's decor. Compared to this spacious and bright hotel, the hotel they stayed in was a crowded student dormitory. Aoi Ichiki stared at Toru Watanabe as Yoshimi Tamamo dragged her away. Mai Asahi's room had a tatami tea room and a western wine bar. The scenery outside the window was beautiful, and there was even a hot spring. Senior, I didn't say it before because you were going to give guidance to the band. They know about our relationship. Although you don't care, it might affect your sister. Yeah. Mai Asahi, who was holding Toru Watanabe, didn't care at all. Koizumi-sensei is the same. Toru Watanabe hugged her, feeling the shape of her chest. Although I don't care, she's still a teacher. I can't prove my love for you and affect my life. Yeah. Toru Watanabe grabbed her hand. I have to go back and report to Miki. I still have to discuss renting the concert hall. Just for a while. I really can't. Toru Watanabe held her hand. As for Koizumi-sensei, I'll leave it to you. You're staying for training, so I'll go and see you, but I can't go out with you anymore. It's good to see Toru. Yeah. Chapter 320. This was the first time that Karuizawa's music hall was receiving students for training. After learning that Kamigawa won the gold medal in last year's national competition, and that Toru Watanabe didn't care about the rent, there were no problems. The only request was that the tourists were allowed to be spectators for free. This was a good thing for the wind instrument department. Toru Watanabe agreed without any communication. As a superior's deputy department head, he still had to have the right to make decisions for his subordinate department. On the way back to the villa, he received a call from Aona Koizumi. Watanabe. After the initial excitement, her voice still carried a bit of excitement. Koizumi-sensei. Toru Watanabe was riding his bicycle in the forest. There was no one around except for birds and squirrels. He smiled. The call went silent, but there was no awkwardness. There was only silent warmth. From Tokyo to Karuizawa, across 126 kilometers, they passed the message to each other. I miss you. After a while, Aona Koizumi finally spoke again. I like you, Toru Watanabe said. Aona Koizumi's happy laughter came from the other side, followed by the sound of her body falling on the bed. Shouldn't you say I miss you too? Aona Koizumi took the pillow and hugged it. I like you. There was another burst of laughter. Yep, I like you too, she said happily. I like you. She laughed again, and there was the sound of feet kicking the blanket. Is it a recording? Yep, I like you. You're so annoying. Toru Watanabe also laughed. Aonai-sensei, please have fun in Karuizawa this time. If Aozi and Miyuki-sensei want to come, let them come as well. I'll rent a villa for you. They're already packing their luggage. Aren't you packing? Aona Koizumi dragged out her words like a young girl. Later. Don't pack. Toru Watanabe egged her on. Karuizawa is very convenient to buy clothes. There's Karuizawa Ginza and Otaris. If I don't pack, what should I do during this time? To chat with me, of course. What are you talking about? Let me tell you about the fun places in Kingjings. Okay, Aona Koizumi sat up, hugged the pillow, and leaned against the headboard. Go ahead. A few days ago, it was foggy in the morning. In order not to get my trousers wet, I rode on a horse to get Tangyaki. Far off I saw a man crouching there, waiting for me to ride by, but he fled. I looked and found that he was looking at a lily. I tied the horse to that place and went to get Koyama. When I came back, the horse had eaten someone else's lily. I was so scared that I hurriedly urged the horse to run away, and almost ran all the way back to Tokyo. He didn't give you any trouble after that? Aona Koizumi held back her laughter. The fog was thick, so we couldn't see each other clearly. We only know that the other party should be human. Pucci. After laughing for a while, Aona Koizumi gasped and said, "This doesn't seem to be Karuizawa's joke. Without me, would it still be fun for Kingjings to play with you, Teacher Chingnai? It's fun. I'm hanging up, my phone is out of gas." Liar, how can your phone be out of gas? That means there's no signal in the mountains. Karuizawa is in the mountains, but as a resort for rich people, how can there be no signal? Watanabe-san, if you lie to me again, I'm going to get angry. Oh no, my phone was stolen. Who stole it? Aona Koizumi asked in a tone of a teacher, who could see through all her students' little tricks. A squirrel. There are squirrels in Karuizawa? Of course. Let's change the video. I'll take a picture for you. Okay. After watching the squirrels running around the treetops, they chatted for a while before hanging up. Chingnai. Guangzi walked into Aona Koizumi's bedroom, holding a hat in each hand. Help me see which one to bring. Try it on and see, Aona Koizumi said. Guangzi tried them on, and Aona Koizumi asked her to bring the baseball cap. You're not done yet? Miyazaki Miyuki crossed her arms and walked in with a heavy bag. The only option left is the sun hat, and it's done now, Guangzi replied. What about you, Chingnai? Miyazaki Miyuki looked at her empty suitcase. It's almost time to leave. What did you do? Aona Koizumi hurriedly threw away the pillow, slid down from the bed, and threw some clothes on the bed from the closet. Miyuki, Guangzi, help me. I can't stand you. Guangzi wore the sun hat and helped her fold the clothes on the bed. You called him? Miyazaki Miyuki was responsible for putting the folded clothes into the suitcase. Yeah. Eek. Guangzi couldn't stand it. You're in a relationship alone, and the three of us have to suffer together. Don't be angry, Watanabe said that he's going to rent a villa for the three of us. Aona Koizumi picked up a white dress with blue butterflies and gestured in front of her. Does this look good? Yes, our Chingnai is the prettiest, Guangzi said. Aona Koizumi threw the dress on the bed and continued looking for clothes she liked. Sometimes, I'm quite envious of Chingnai, Miyazaki Miyuki said. Not only do they like each other, but he's also so rich, young, romantic, good-looking, and has a great body. What's there to be envious of if you don't see each other for half a month? Guangzi folded the dress on her knees. How many times in a year can you not see each other for half a month? Even if you're an ordinary couple, so what if you see each other every day? Will he send you flowers every day? Treat you well? Chingnai likes Watanabe, and she doesn't have to cook or do housework for him when they're together. She just has to enjoy life. I'm not with Watanabe because of that, it's because I like him a lot. Aona Koizumi emphasized. You don't like his looks? Miyazaki Miyuki asked. You don't like him sending you roses every day? The 26-year-old Miyazaki Miyuki looked at the embarrassed Aona Koizumi with an expression that said, I've seen through you youngsters. Look at your smug face, disgusting. Guangzi passed the folded dress to Miyazaki Miyuki while she picked up a summer shirt angrily. There's another benefit to being with Watanabe, Miyazaki Miyuki said. I told you, I'm not with him for any benefits. Aona Koizumi felt wronged. What benefits? Guangzi ignored Aona Koizumi and asked directly. He's the son-in-law of the Kujo family. Miki Kujo agreed to Qingnai's matter, which means, if you encounter any trouble in life in the future, all you have to do is say a word, and it can be easily solved. For example, if you make a mistake in school or if your family is sick, you need a good doctor. Guangzi nodded in agreement. That's just the basics. Miyazaki Miyuki continued. If Qingnai isn't gentle and has a more outgoing personality, she can bully people now. For example, she can get the principal to expel Fujiki Guangzi. Hey, I'm very good at teaching. Why expel me? If there's anyone to expel, it should be you. The school doctor who has nothing but breasts. Breasts are enough. Ah, Guangzi couldn't stand the humiliation and grabbed Miyazaki Miyuki's breasts with both hands. She must have absorbed my nutrients. I'm definitely the biggest. That's how you made them big. Woo. Guangzi didn't know whether to continue rubbing or not. Hurry up and help me tidy up my clothes. There's not enough time. Aona Koizumi said to the two who were fooling around. Okay, Mrs. Watanabe, please don't expel me, Guangzi said in a pitiful tone. Oh really? Aona Koizumi didn't know whether to refute Mrs. Watanabe or expel for a moment. The three of them laughed and joked around as they hurried to the school. The music department had already moved the instruments, and everyone was chatting excitedly and expectantly in the car. Sorry, teacher is late. Is everyone here? Aona Koizumi asked. Everyone is here. The music department head, Keiru Hayami, replied. Then let's go. Great. Karuizawa, I'm coming. I'm going to the training camp, Horikita-san. Sorry, Hayo-senpai. The bus with the Kamigawa school emblem slowly drove out of the campus and headed towards the Karuizawa Plateau, which was 1,000 meters above sea level. At 3 o'clock in the afternoon, they arrived at the U2 Ruiro Hotel. The over-the-top accommodation, cool weather, and beautiful natural scenery made this group of high school students chatter non-stop. It's a tatami suite, and there's a TV. It's not a dojo. It's so touching. Come and see. Open the window and you can see the mountain. Is it Mount Asama? It's said to be an active volcano, and sometimes you can see the eruption of flames. It's amazing. Everyone. Keiru Hayami clapped her hands and made everyone quiet down. Did you see the failure of the baseball department? We went to Hyogo Prefecture to help in such a hot day, but we still lost. Yes. It's really not good to leave Koen Watanabe. We don't have Koen Watanabe this year. Keiru Hayami's words made everyone quiet down. She continued, we're not here for a tour, we're here for training. If we didn't make it to the national tournament, think about what others would say? Training and going to a tourist destination, you didn't train well at all. The playing department can't be the same as the baseball department, we're the best. We're the best. Everyone answered in unison. Very good. Then let's start packing. We'll be downstairs at 3:30, and we'll go directly to the concert hall to practice. Yes. Aona Koizumi and the other two didn't live in a villa. As a teacher, she had to stay with her students. Aona Koizumi used this reason to reject Toru Watanabe's proposal to rent a villa. Because of the principal's wishful thinking, the playing department didn't want a professional music teacher to hinder Rin Kiyono, so they still didn't have a conductor this year. As a consultant, Aona Koizumi couldn't do anything about the playing department. This year's playing department relied on Rin Kiyono's occasional guidance and the strict training schedule. Teacher, you go take a look, I'll take care of them, Keiru Hayami said to Aona Koizumi, who had followed him to the concert hall. I'm a consultant. The school entrusted you to me. So how can you go alone? You said it yourself. We're here for training, not for a tour. Thank you, teacher. We'll do our best. Yes, teacher believes in you. Aona Koizumi sat in the concert hall's auditorium, chatting with her girlfriends who had already started playing, while paying attention to the playing department's training. She also wanted to travel around Karuizawa. In that case, he might bump into Watanabe at a corner of a street, in a coffee shop, or on a shady path. But as the consultant of the playing department, even if she just sat there like an idiot, she had to stay. I'm in the concert hall. Will you come? Aona Koizumi clicked on Toru Watanabe's line several times, wanting to ask him this question. The playing department's training lasted until 10 at night. Their originally tired bodies suddenly became active because of the training. They were about to walk around when they realized that Karuizawa had already fallen asleep. What's going on? 10 o'clock is just the beginning of a day for Tokyo. It's here, the whispers of a wandering ghost in Shinjuku in the middle of the night. It's definitely not a wandering ghost. And I've only heard about it. I've never gone shopping so late at night. I'm so envious of Hanada-senpai, Itsuki, and Tamamo who can come early. Itsuki classmate. What's wrong? Is there a problem with the training? I want to go back to Tokyo. Don't be so discouraging. The training hasn't officially started yet. Everyone dragged their tired bodies back to the dormitory, but they were still in a good mood. They took a shower, turned off the lights, whispered to each other, fell asleep, and prepared for tomorrow's training. August 17th, 7 o'clock in the morning. In Karuizawa's dining hall, the playing department was very eye-catching in their school's sportswear. The tourists were all guessing which school had the money to let their students stay at Karuizawa in August. I heard that the money for our accommodation was paid for by Watanabe-kun. How much does that cost? Not only that, but he also rented a concert hall. Why would Kun Watanabe do that? It's so beautiful, you know? That guy thinks that our playing department is a subordinate department of the human observation department. Not bad. Yet the human observation department is made up of those three. Aona Koizumi, Huangzi, and Miyuki Miyazaki, who had woken up early to accompany her, sat down at a table to eat. Where did that Watanabe brat get so much money? From the Kujo family? Huangzi asked while eating a salad. Miki Kujo doesn't seem like someone who would allow him to do that, but Rin Kiyono is more likely. Miyazaki said. Yeah, that's true. Huangzi agreed. The three of them were chatting and enjoying their breakfast when someone walked into the group of students. Aona Koizumi hurriedly looked over. Most of the players in the playing department were girls, so she was worried that someone would take advantage of them. The girl at the table pointed over, and the person walked over to the three of them. The girls started whispering to each other, and the news quickly spread. Everyone looked over with giggles. Are you Miss Aona Koizumi? The person asked. Yes, and you are? Aona Koizumi stood up politely and asked in confusion. Here are your flowers and letter. Please sign here. Aona Koizumi paused for a moment, then quickly regained her senses and said, Okay. Is it from that brat again? Huangzi asked Miyazaki. It doesn't matter if the money is from him or not, for him to think of this. What do you think of him now? Miyazaki asked. I've always thought of him as a good person, so I didn't object, as long as Aonai likes him. After Aona Koizumi signed and thanked her, she sat down with a large bouquet of flowers. Some of the more daring girls from the music club gathered around. Sensei, who sent it? I've only been here for a day, no, half a day, and someone already sent me flowers. If only I could become a popular girl like Koizumi sensei. Everyone go back and eat, and hurry up with your training. Aona Koizumi said. Yes. The girls didn't get an answer, so they answered weakly. After they left, Huangzi asked, Is it that brat Watanabe? Aona Koizumi frowned. The flowers weren't roses. Do you know what kind of flowers this is? She asked. From the looks of it, it seems to be a type of lily. Miyazaki said uncertainly. Lily. Aona Koizumi paused, then thought of something and hurriedly opened the letter. Huangzi and Miyazaki immediately looked over. Huangzi read. To my favorite Miss Aonai from Tokyo. It's a freak combination of factors, a space-time disorder. It's fate. It's another foggy day. I ride my white horse, and pick a lily for my beloved. The fragrant lily, its words are waiting and chance encounter. Dedicated to you. Miss Aonai from the Fireflies. It was signed off with a neat English letter T. After reading the letter, Huangzi's expression wrinkled. She said, You're making me read this early in the morning? This world is too cruel. Aona Koizumi read the letter again. When she was about to read it for the third time, Miyazaki reminded her. It's time to eat, Aonai. Ah. Oh. Aona Koizumi put the letter back into the envelope and prepared to put it between her favorite books. She reached out to pick up her chopsticks, but halfway through, she picked up the lily. So many. How many did you steal from others? She whispered, then couldn't help but laugh. She sniffed the flowers, and in the light fragrance, there seemed to be the scent of Toru Watanabe's wet hair. Aona, eat. I know. Aona Koizumi quickly put down the flowers and picked up her chopsticks. Chapter 321. It was earlier than usual when he returned from the racetrack. The villa was quiet, and no one was awake. Toru Watanabe lightened his footsteps and returned to the bedroom. On the big, soft bed, Miki Kujo was sleeping soundly. She only slept on the right side of the bed. Even though Toru Watanabe, who used to sleep on the left, had disappeared, her body was still in the position that belonged to her. Last year, when the two of them first got together, Miki Kujo, who was used to having the big bed all to herself, would often squeeze Toru Watanabe to the side of the bed. Sometimes, because she ran over herself, Toru Watanabe would press down on her hair, and she would use this as an excuse to make a certain someone sleep under the bed. At that time, the two of them, one said, "When I'm strong, I'll make Kujo's family disappear for you." And the other said, "If you don't listen to my orders, I'll kill you right now." But at night, they slept on the same bed and did the most intimate things. These feelings, pain, hatred, and entanglement had all become irreplaceable memories. Lying in bed, they would occasionally talk about it, tease each other, and settle scores. Toru Watanabe took off his clothes and crawled under the blanket. The moment he laid down, he reached out and hugged Miki Kujo's warm body, pressing them tightly together. Miki Kujo moved in his arms. They were already pressed together, but she still wanted to lean into his arms. "You're back," she murmured. "Yeah. I have something to report to Miki-ne-san." Miki Kujo didn't say anything. Toru Watanabe continued. "I picked some lilies for Koizumi-sensei and had someone send them over." Miki Kujo didn't even open her eyes. She raised her head and made a move to leave his arms. Toru Watanabe used a bit of force and hugged her back. "She's here for training for the next 3 days. I won't go on a date with her. I can only send her flowers." "What about me? What did you pick for me?" "No." Miki Kujo wanted to leave Toru Watanabe again, but Toru Watanabe pulled her beautiful body back again. At the same time, he lifted his left leg and hooked it around her snow-white and delicate legs. Miss Kujo became a pillow. Toru Watanabe sighed in satisfaction and said, "As long as I can hug Miki Kujo like this, Toru Watanabe will be very happy." "Then why did you go and pick flowers for other women?" Miki Kujo said fiercely as she hooked her arms around his neck. Her soft breasts pressed against Toru Watanabe's chest. "Morning exercise. Why didn't you pluck it for me?" "Koizumi-sensei, long time no see. We sleep together every day." "Because we sleep together every day, so you're too lazy to coax me?" "I coax you the most. And I already said that Toru Watanabe will feel happy when he hugs Miki Kujo." "How happy?" The boat docked at the harbor, and the sunset birds started to return to their nests. "That's how happy I am." Miki Kujo made a sound of satisfaction. "Me too." "You sleep with me every day, so you don't care about me. You just said me too half-heartedly." Miki Kujo opened her eyes. "I was wrong." Toru Watanabe hugged her shoulders intimately. Miki Kujo closed her eyes again in his arms. Toru Watanabe stared at her face for a long time. When Miki Kujo was about to fall asleep, he said, "No matter how long I look at you, how many times I look at you, sister is still so beautiful." "How beautiful?" "Either time stops right here, or I have to take you with me wherever I go." "Did you say the same thing to them?" "I want to tell you something in secret. Don't tell anyone." Toru Watanabe whispered in her ear, "I love you the most." "So that's considered a secret?" Kujo-san said in an exaggerated tone. "I thought it was a matter of course." "Of course it's a matter of course." Toru Watanabe immediately corrected himself. "Then what about Rin Kiyono? You want to talk about her in bed?" "I allowed it. I loved her." "And then?" Miki Kujo asked leisurely. I still love her now. I'll kill you. Miki Kujo said this, but she didn't do anything. She didn't even pretend to leave Toru Watanabe's embrace. I like to lie, but after the family camping trip, I've decided to be honest. Toru Watanabe added. At least with you I'll tell you everything. You're fantasizing about her joining us, right? The future that my mother talked about. I wouldn't say that I don't want to at all, unless I don't have normal desires. But like I said, I'm just a cog. I can't decide your lives. You'd better lie to me in the future. Oh, Sister, you're so mean. Toru Watanabe used a little more force, and the two of them once again felt the warmth of each other's bodies pressing against each other. The two of them stopped talking for a while, and quietly enjoyed each other's body heat. After a while, Toru Watanabe said, Your mother thinks that the two of you can accept such a future. What do you actually think? Don't even think about it. Miki Kujo said without hesitation. I don't want to. Toru Watanabe didn't move. He hugged her young and plump body, reveling in the warmth of her skin. Just as he was about to fall asleep, Miki Kujo's somewhat distant voice sounded in his arms. If it's like this every year, I can accept it, she said. Toru Watanabe felt that he should be very happy right now. After all, half of the things that he wanted to do the most were completed. But at this moment, his heart was only filled with endless love for Miki Kujo. We don't owe each other anything, he said. You don't have to make yourself suffer. If I do something to let you down again, you can kill me. Really? Miki Kujo asked softly. But there's a condition. If you want to kill me, I want the two of us to die together. You're mine for the rest of your life. I have to take you with me wherever I go. Miki Kujo propped herself up slightly, revealing her snow-white shoulders. Her charming eyes quietly stared at Toru Watanabe. Don't misunderstand. Toru Watanabe laughed. This isn't a threat. I really think so. It has nothing to do with love or not. You're mine. You can only be mine. I know. Miki Kujo laughed. I've always thought so. The two of them looked at each other and smiled. Their hearts were close together. Two people with such terrifying possessiveness. No matter how much they torture each other, they'll still fall in love with each other in the end. Toru Watanabe pulled her back into his arms and tucked her in. Now do you know how much I love you? So possessive. I even let you have two lovers. Miki Kujo was obviously someone who wouldn't admit that she owed someone. That's not enough. Miki Kujo laughed coldly. A lifetime is too long. I have a feeling that something will happen to you and Rin Kiyono sooner or later. How can that be? You can kill me when the time comes. Are you sure? Of course. Toru Watanabe recalled the night on the Pacific Ocean when the Milky Way seemed to be about to pour down. Seeing his hesitant expression, Miki Kujo snorted coldly. Then you can kill me when the time comes. Toru Watanabe said sincerely. When the time comes, the three of us will definitely die together. If that's the case, why don't we live together? Toru Watanabe was stunned. What do you mean? I want you to owe me, Miki Kujo said. If you can make Rin Kiyono apologize to me, I'll allow her to be with you and be your lover. Is that even possible? It's up to you whether it's possible or not. Miki Kujo's tone was relaxed. Anyway, you owe me now. For the time being, I have a way to try to make you two reconcile. But lover, you're willing, but Rin Kiyono isn't. Yeah, she definitely isn't willing, but she must have the same feeling as me. She has a feeling that the three of us will definitely be together. Why don't I? You really don't. I really don't. Looking at Toru Watanabe, who couldn't control his smile, Miki Kujo pinched him hard. I really don't. I'm not lying to you. Toru Watanabe hurriedly dodged. Rin Kiyono is so stubborn. Even if she agrees to be together, she won't allow it as a lover. Yeah, then we'll have to fight again. But remember, Miki Kujo said with a smile. You owe me now. You're a bad woman. Toru Watanabe hugged her slim and tight waist. Making Rin Kiyono apologize, making Rin Kiyono be a lover, using such difficult conditions and almost impossible things to make me owe you. If it wasn't because I don't want to make mother worry, And I don't want Auntie Yuko to worry about the inheritance of the Kiyono family. I wouldn't even agree to this. I thought it was because you love me and still miss Rin Kiyono. Of course that's the main reason. So you really do care about Rin Kiyono? Toru Watanabe laughed. I'm warning you, we can talk about this in bed, but if you dare to say this to anyone, I'll divorce you when we return to Tokyo. We're not married yet, sister. In response to Toru Watanabe's mischievous smile, Miki Kujo said with a smile, if you dare to tell anyone, I'll call those two women here and tell them that you personally said that the person you love the most is me, and that you're with them only because… Wait. We love each other, so let's not torture each other. It depends on your performance. Of course I'll perform well. Come, raise your legs. Kun Watanabe's everything is Miki Jejia's. Get lost. Miki Kujo pulled out a pillow and covered Toru Watanabe's face with it. Toru Watanabe removed the pillow, turned over and sat up. He pulled her beautiful legs over and placed them on both sides of his waist. Miki Kujo's entire body lay on the bed. Her long hair, as beautiful as the night, spread out on the big white bed and fell on the edge of the bed. At 8:30, the two finished bathing and got up. What's the situation today? Mrs. Kujo looked at the two people coming down from upstairs. At this time, it was too late for Toru Watanabe, but too early for Miki Kujo. Ah! Miki Kujo gave a long yawn and stretched lazily. It looked like she was lazy after a good night's sleep. Did you sleep enough or not? Mrs. Kujo asked curiously. I didn't sleep. Miki Kujo sat down at the dining table. Then why didn't you sleep a little longer? Kujo Masakazu was worried about her daughter. I was preparing to sleep, but Watanabe insisted that I get up to eat breakfast. He told me to eat before going to sleep. Miki Kujo said. Only you would dare to wake Miki up, Kun Watanabe. Mrs. Kujo was full of admiration. She woke up a long time ago. Toru Watanabe said. You woke up a long time ago? What did you do? Mrs. Kujo asked with bad intentions. I can't tell a third person. Toru Watanabe said. Oh. Mrs. Kujo looked at Miki Kujo. Yes. Miki Kujo smiled as she tore off a piece of bread and put it in her mouth. When the two of them were eating breakfast, Rin Kiyono walked in from the villa's balcony with a book in her hand, bringing the morning light and fresh air. I'm going to the concert hall. Are you coming? She asked Toru Watanabe. Yes. Toru Watanabe nodded. Miki, are you coming? Miki Kujo waved her hand. I'm going to sleep. Ah. Rin Kiyono laughed. You actually let me be alone with Watanabe-san. I have to admire your courage, Kujo-san. Miki Kujo turned to look at her and smiled without saying a word. Rin Kiyono stopped smiling and looked at Toru Watanabe. Seeing Miki's smile, Kiyono-san, do you remember something? Toru Watanabe muttered. What? Last year, after you went to the bathroom, I said that you weren't cute at all. Your smile at that time. Bathroom? Cute? Mrs. Kiyono looked at the two of them. It's not that ambiguous. Rin Kiyono explained, then said to Toru Watanabe, You mean that she didn't take my words seriously? So, you didn't take my words seriously at that time? Watanabe-san, I hope you have self-awareness. Rin Kiyono's left hand, which wasn't holding a book, pressed against his temple as he spoke with a headache. You too. Miki Kujo was in a good mood, and she put another mouthful of salad into her mouth. Rin Kiyono put down her hand and her expression became cold. I'm done eating. Let's go. Toru Watanabe put down his utensils, wiped his mouth and stood up. Don't cry and beg me if you lose. Rin Kiyono took one last look at Miki Kujo. After the two of them left, Mrs. Kujo asked her daughter, Are you really going to let them be alone? I want to sleep. What can I do? Miki Kujo put down her knife and fork and stretched. You can let Watanabe stay. Zyme. Kiyono was unhappy. Didn't we agree that we can't interfere with their relationship? That day on the spring elm balcony, when that child called my came over, didn't you also instigate the conflict between Miki and Watanabe? Mrs. Kujo retorted. That doesn't count. You're already breaking the rules. Yours doesn't count, but mine does. What kind of rule is that? Aren't you stealing when you're riding a horse? We're talking about a child's relationship. Why are you talking about riding a horse? Are you abiding by the rules? You guys can continue arguing. Miki Kujo stood up. I'm going to sleep. Toru Watanabe and Rin Kiyono rode their bicycles through the sunny forest. What book? Toru Watanabe glanced at the hardcover book in her basket. Rin Kiyono let go of the bicycle handle with her left hand, picked up the book, and turned the cover to face Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe glanced at the title of the book. What's it about? About cats? No. Rin Kiyono put the book back into the basket. The teenager killed the mistress of the villa and fooled the police in the end. The sun is so bright. Let's not talk about such a gloomy topic. You asked, although I didn't answer all of your questions. The two of them rode their bicycles side by side on the tree-lined path that was shredded by the sun. Passing by the villas hidden by the trees, the moist wind mixed with the smell of grass and trees passed by them. Toru Watanabe looked up. The sky, which looked like seawater, was faintly discernible through the gaps between the leaves. Today is the bluest day of summer, Toru Watanabe said. Rin Kiyono looked up. Summer isn't over yet. No, Kiyono classmate, it's almost autumn in Karuizawa. Chapter 322. The doors of the Oga concert hall were wide open, and soft music could be heard from the inside. Toru Watanabe and Rin Kiyono parked their bicycles and walked in. The 55 members of Kamikawa Yukabu were sitting on the stage, and there were a few audience members scattered around the stage. It was as if this was a performance by an unknown orchestra. The two of them walked to the first row. Some of the members on the stage who noticed the two of them widened their eyes. Some played more seriously, and some made mistakes in their panic. When Qing Yiren slightly furrowed her cold but beautiful eyebrows, these people all became obedient again. Toru Watanabe looked at the front row. Aona Koizumi was sitting there bored. She was holding her phone and glancing at it from time to time. Good morning, Koizumi-sensei. HM. When Aona Koizumi heard the voice, she straightened up and turned around. Kiyono, classmate, long time no see. Rin Kiyono nodded. Aona Koizumi looked past her and looked behind Rin Kiyono. Tetsumesa Watanabe was winking at her. Aona Koizumi couldn't help but smile. On the stage, Kaoru Hayami, who was originally the conductor, noticed Rin Kiyono's arrival. He clenched his fist and stopped the ensemble. She got off the stage and walked towards Rin Kiyono. Long time no see, Kiyono, classmate Koen Watanabe. Kaoru Hayami's voice had a hint of urgency in it. Since August, the performance department hadn't received any guidance from Rin Kiyono. As the date of the competition was getting closer and closer, as the head of the department, she was already burning with anxiety. Long time no see. Good morning, senpai. Toru Watanabe responded. Without waiting for Rin Kiyono to speak, Kaoru Hayami looked at her and said, Kiyono, can we trouble you to guide us? That's why I'm here. The two of them didn't waste any time, and went straight to the stage. Kaoru Hayami picked up her bassoon, and sat among the musicians. Rin Kiyono picked up her baton, and stood in front of the music stand. After the reminder, there are two reasons why I haven't improved. First, I'm not working hard enough. Second, I'm not capable enough. But no matter which one it is, all of you are worse than I imagined. As soon as she went on stage, Kiyono told the band what it meant to be emotionless. The instrument department held their breaths in concentration. Some people felt ashamed, while others felt that the baseball team had wasted their training time, so they didn't feel wronged. But no matter who it was, no matter what kind of feelings they had, they all accepted the scolding obediently. Starting from the flutes of the woodwind team, play them one by one for me. After mercilessly lecturing them, Rin Kiyono immediately began to guide them. Yes. When Toru Watanabe sat down next to Aona Koizumi, he glanced at the audience in the back row. As expected, they were all surprised by Rin Kiyono. The two of them sat side by side and watched as the instrument department recorded every word that came out of Rin Kiyono's mouth, as if they were having a meeting. Aona Koizumi was hesitant about how to start the conversation. As lovers, or as a teacher and a student? There were so many people in the concert hall, and so many students in front of her. It could only be a conversation between a teacher and a student. You received my letter? Toru Watanabe asked. Koizumi Aonai's originally somewhat regretful and discouraged mood was suddenly washed away by these words. Yeah. Her voice was very light, just like Yoshimi Tamamo's voice on stage. Why didn't you go play? I'm a teacher after all. Aona Koizumi said in a girl's voice. I like teachers the most. I don't believe your words. Why? Toru Watanabe turned to look at her. Because the stage was full of people, he didn't smile, but there was a smile in his eyes. You forgot? Aona Koizumi pretended to be angry. Last year, a month after school started, you still didn't know my full name. At that time, you said you liked teachers the most, and that you did everything for teachers. Teacher, you got it wrong. I remember it very clearly. When I said I like teachers the most, I said I like teachers as a profession, not you. What did you say? What I meant was, no matter how old I get, please continue to be my teacher. Toru Watanabe's ambiguous tone made Aona Koizumi, who often heard Miyazaki Miyuki say that students yearn for beautiful female teachers, immediately understand. Be serious. She scolded him shyly. If it weren't for the fact that I was sitting in the first beat, I would have put my hand on your leg right now. Watanabe-san. On the stage, Rin Kiyono turned around and cast a cold gaze at Toru Watanabe. Here. Come up. What's the matter? Since there's nothing to do sitting there, you're in charge of guiding the woodwind instruments. Oh. Good luck. Koizumi Aonai snickered softly. Do you still remember how I taught you how to train them? Toru Watanabe said in a low voice as he stood up. Uh-huh. Aona Koizumi pointed to her chin in confusion. Do you want to blow it again? At that time, you used my body to do such girlish movements? Uh-huh. Aona Koizumi nodded at Toru Watanabe, who was obviously lying. Watanabe-san. I'm coming. Correcting the missing intervals, making the beat even, adjusting the volume ratio between the instruments. Several times, dozens of times, as if he was practicing the same place. The audience came and went, and soon lost interest in the wind instruments that were no longer playing in unison. He continued to practice without stopping for a moment. When it was close to noon, Miki Kujo and her two wives arrived. Aona Koizumi's eyes darted left and right, but she finally gathered her courage and walked forward. Mother Kujo, Mother Kiyono, and Miki-san, good afternoon. Good afternoon, Koizumi-san, Mrs. Kujo said gently. She looked as young as Aona Koizumi, but now that she changed her tone, she naturally showed the maturity of a high school mother. Where's Watanabe? Miki Kujo didn't see Toru Watanabe on the stage. He's in the second concert hall, guiding the brass section, Aona Koizumi said. Yeah. Miki Kujo nodded and walked straight to the second concert hall. Let's go take a look as well. The two wives didn't even look at Rin Kiyono on the stage. Rin Kiyono didn't notice their arrival either, and was focused on guiding the brass section. Under her guidance, everyone gradually gained a clear understanding of the music score that they had played countless times. Even though they knew that as long as they followed Rin Kiyono's instructions, they would definitely be able to play better, they still felt a sense of trust and yearning from the bottom of their hearts. On the other side, Miki Kujo and her two wives walked into the second concert hall. Mrs. Kujo glanced around. Apart from Toru Watanabe, everyone else was girls. They were playing, and Toru Watanabe was staring at the music score with an attentive expression. Hearing someone come in, the girls continued playing. Toru Watanabe looked up. Play one more time. He didn't greet Miki Kujo and the others, but said to the brass section. The girls in the brass section wailed. Kuin Watanabe, bassoon player and head of the brass section, Keiru Hayami said, We've played this part 10 times, it's about time you tell us what's wrong, right? That's right. First-year oboe Masanori Horikita echoed. Senpai, you can tell us now. You're really stupid. Toru Watanabe sighed. Yes, Kuin Watanabe, you're the smartest, tell us quickly. The girls didn't care at all, and urged him one by one. Toru Watanabe deliberately used a bad way to guide them, but it didn't seem to have any effect. Think carefully. What should you be thinking when you play this part? How are you going to present this solo? I'll give you 3 minutes. If you can't do it, you'll keep practicing today. I hope you can practice a few more parts during the 3 days of training. After that, Toru Watanabe ignored them and went directly to Miki Kujo and the others. Why are you here? He said. To find you for dinner, Miki Kujo answered. Toru Watanabe raised his right hand and looked at the black dial. It was indeed time for dinner. Dismissed, let's eat. He turned to the brass section and said, Tell us what's wrong. The girls didn't let him go. What were you thinking when you played? Toru Watanabe asked. Harbor breeze. Of course it was the harbor. It's the harbor, but not Tokyo Bay. This song was composed by a Yokohama native. Look up the Yokohama Bay when you eat. After dealing with these people, Toru Watanabe turned to the ladies and said, What do you want to eat? Eat with the high school students? Mrs. Kujo said with interest. Okay. Toru Watanabe didn't have any opinion. The 4 of them went to the first concert hall together, ready to find Rin Kiyono. Kuin Watanabe, Mrs. Kiyono said. I thought you would be whispering sweet nothings with little Rin, but it turns out you're really here to guide the playing section. What's my image in your mind? Anyway, he's not some innocent young man. This is the biggest misunderstanding in the whole of August. I don't think it's a misunderstanding. Mrs. Kujo also joined in the fun. You think too much. But do you plan to go into politics in the future? No, Mickey and I decided to go high-tech, develop holographic projection and artificial intelligence, and rule the world. You're joking and so serious, you're really suitable to be a politician. Mrs. Kiyono affirmed. Mrs. Kujo said, When you graduate from university, I'll arrange for you to be a secretary for a minister, and then enter the House of Representatives. Step by step, cabinet secretary, party president, prime minister, it won't take long. Dear mother, I'm really going to study artificial intelligence and become the king of the world. It seems that I'll have to arrange for you to stay in a mental hospital for a while. This was Mrs. Kujo's view of her son-in-law's great dream. Toru Watanabe took Miki Kujo's slender and soft hand and said to her, Starting tonight, your Toru can't accompany you. He's going to start studying artificial intelligence. Help him prepare the relevant textbooks and papers. Just don't disturb my sleep. So you mean studying is studying, but you still have to do what you need to do every day? Toru Watanabe whispered with a smile. Miki Kujo rolled her eyes at him. Calling Rin Kiyono, they followed the playing section to the hotel for dinner. The food wasn't too extravagant, but it was still sumptuous. Salt grilled fish with mashed radish and a slice of green lemon. Seasonal vegetables with dried wooden fish. There were also egg rolls, pickled cucumbers, rice, a bowl of chicken soup with matsutake, lentils, and bamboo shoots. You're eating well, Mrs. Kujo said. Usually this is all I've eaten. I usually only eat rice with tea, Toru Watanabe said. So pitiful? Miki treats you too badly. Come to our house, Mrs. Kiyono said with a smile. No. Toru Watanabe raised his hand to refuse. Last year during the typhoon, Kiyono's eldest daughter was hungry for a whole day, and at night, she went to buy discounted lunchboxes with me. With this kind of treatment, you still want me to go? Ha ha ha. Except for Rin Kiyono, Miki Kujo and the other 2 all laughed. There's such a thing? Mrs. Kiyono asked her daughter with a face full of smiles. Rin Kiyono squeezed the limes out of the steam and let them fall evenly on the fish. Then she drank a mouthful of chicken soup, picked up the rice and ate slowly. She didn't participate in the fun of the 4 at all. After dinner, Miki Kujo and the other ladies rode away, saying that the weather was so good that they were going to play golf with the lady who delivered the koyaki. Toru Watanabe, Rin Kiyono, and Aona Koizumi walked back to the concert hall. Although there was a lunch break, there were still many diligent members of the playing section who continued to practice after lunch. The 3 of them were there to guide these people and ensure their safety. They practiced in groups until 3 in the afternoon and played together for another hour. Good morning, senpai. Rin Kiyono's forehead was slightly sweaty. Yes. I'll leave the rest to you. Please make sure that they practice what I pointed out today until they're completely familiar with it, and completely correct it. No problem, leave it to me. Karuhayami promised. Before leaving the conductor's seat, Rin Kiyono looked at the 55 members of the playing section and said one last thing. I hope that you won't disappoint me tomorrow. Yes. There was a small round of applause from the audience. The tourists and audience were moved by the youth and hard work of the playing section, and they approved of their previous performance. They're going back? Toru Watanabe asked Rin Kiyono, who was walking down the stage. Yes. Auntie Yuko sent us a message and told us to buy some ingredients on the way. They're just about to go back. Rin Kiyono didn't have any objections. Teacher Koizumi, see you tomorrow. Toru Watanabe said to Aona Koizumi. Yes, see you tomorrow. Thank you for your hard work today. After saying goodbye, the two of them walked out of the concert hall, and were about to leave on their bicycles when they bumped into Miyuki and Huangzi, who were holding shopping bags. Hello. Toru Watanabe greeted them with a smile. He often went to their apartment to eat, so the three of them could be considered friends. You're going back? Miyuki asked. Yes, I've been here for a day. Is Aonai happy? Huangzi teased. I can't tell. Help me ask her tonight. Toru Watanabe laughed. What are you thinking? I'm not your spy. Huangzi immediately gave Toru Watanabe a look. Yes, yes, yes. Toru Watanabe replied. Where did you go during the day? Today we went to Outback. Miyuki said. We also went there a few days ago. What did you think? The internet says that it's a heaven for buying, but when I went there the prices were completely different. Most of it was the original price, and the discount was only about 30%. Huangzi complained. Ha! Toru Watanabe laughed without any sympathy. Huangzi raised the shopping bag in her hand and pretended to hit him. Toru Watanabe pretended to dodge and said with a smile. We still have to buy groceries, so we'll be leaving first. Goodbye. The two of them rode to the supermarket and took a large shopping cart. The handsome boy, the beautiful girl, the shop assistant, and the customers, no matter who it was, they all looked at the two of them. There's no rice or soy sauce, right? Rin Kiyono walked around the shelves, looking around. Yes, there's not much beer left in the fridge. Your mother didn't say, but we should still buy a few cans. Okay. Rin Kiyono took a few items from the shelves, looked at the bottles for a while, then put most of them back, and put a few in the shopping cart. As expected of a young lady who can live alone, Toru Watanabe said with admiration. You live alone, and you eat all the food from the supermarket? Rin Kiyono picked up a bag of Italian matsutake to check its freshness. I mainly eat the leftover ingredients from the restaurant, like explosives and bento, the kind that doesn't cost money. Rin Kiyono shook her head, not to Toru Watanabe, but to the Italian matsutake. She put the matsutake back, and continued to walk along the shelves full of vegetables. Toru Watanabe followed behind with the shopping cart. What should we eat today? Rin Kiyono whispered as she chose. It was the first time that Toru Watanabe saw Rin Kiyono being so homely. What do you like to eat? Rin Kiyono asked. I'm fine with anything, but the two ladies probably want edamame and tofu. We can play mahjong and drink while eating. Toru Watanabe took a bag of edamame, and Rin Kiyono took a bag of tofu. Do you still have soy sauce and chili powder? We don't have any soy sauce. Did you forget that Mickey poured half a bottle into it last time? She can cook too? Rin Kiyono mocked. Toru Watanabe suddenly had an illusion that he, Rin Kiyono, and Miki Kujo were already a family. Is 6 cans of beer enough? Rin Kiyono was still enjoying the shopping. It's enough. Before paying the bill, Rin Kiyono checked the things in the shopping cart one by one, like a housewife. It's all here, let's go. After paying the bill, they carried the bags out of the supermarket and put the things in the shopping cart basket. Before starting to ride, Rin Kiyono tore open a piece of chocolate that she had just bought to replenish her strength after a hard day. Do you want to eat? She asked. Toru Watanabe, who was already on the bicycle, nodded. Rin Kiyono gave him a plate. Toru Watanabe put the chocolate in his mouth. Let's go home. As soon as he stepped on the pedals of the bicycle, The evening wind blew. Chapter 323. It was August 18th, the third day since the band came to Karuizawa. Aona Koizumi and the other two woke up early. They suddenly changed to a comfortable and romantic Karuizawa. The three girls suddenly became more positive about life, and made an appointment to run in the morning last night. What a thick fog. Walking out of the hotel, Huangzi opened her arms and exclaimed, "It's a little cold." Miyazaki Miyuki sniffled and seemed a little uncomfortable. Aona Koizumi looked at the hazy fog and thought of the Karuizawa morning that Toru Watanabe had mentioned many times. Perhaps she would run into him in the mist, she thought to herself. Where should we run to? Huangzi took out the tourist map from the hotel reception. Look here. Aona Koizumi pointed to the south of the hotel on the map. This is a country club with a small golf course. How about we go around the golf course? South of the hotel was the country club's golf course. South of the golf course was the Karuizawa riding club. There was more than one place to play golf in Karuizawa. For example, north of Yinchang Lake. However, this was the only place where one could ride a horse. It's not far from here. Let's go there. Miyazaki Miyuki nodded. Go, go, go. Huangzi rolled up the map and ran into the fog first. The mist that shrouded the light well lake dispersed like seawater as they ran, and then gathered together again. The visibility was very low. If they ran into someone walking towards them, they would only be able to see the other person's face clearly when they were very close. There were tall and strong elm trees all around. They could hear birds chirping in the depths of the fog. It's so thick. Even if we meet Watanabe, we won't be able to see him. Aona Koizumi thought of Toru Watanabe's words on the phone. It's so thick that we couldn't see each other clearly. We only know that the other person is probably a person. She burst out laughing. Huangzi and Miyazaki Miyuki, who were running beside her, looked at her strangely. What's so funny? Miyazaki Miyuki asked. I watched a TV drama last night. The male lead had a watermelon head. Aona Koizumi said while trying to hold back her laughter. You didn't smile when you saw it last night, but now you're smiling? Huangzi was very puzzled. Don't you haha think it's funny? Haha. Aona Koizumi laughed as she spoke. She had already made the connection that she and Toru Watanabe couldn't recognize each other in the fog. Later, the two of them talked about their morning exercise and were shocked by the figures in the fog. Huangzi looked at Aona Koizumi, who was laughing nonstop, with emotionless and dull eyes. Smiling is a good thing. Miyazaki Miyuki sighed. She was starting to get tired. Today was another day of worrying about her breasts being too big. After a while, the three of them changed from running to walking and started to stroll. The three of them chatted as they walked, talking about the workplace romance drama they watched last night. As the female lead, she was the boss, and her swift and decisive style. In school romance dramas, the male lead was always arrogant. In reality, there was no such person. Toru Watanabe fit the role of a loose tie. Unknowingly, the elm tree had turned into a larch tree. They went from a straight and wide road to a quiet path with branches above their heads. The tree trunks were chopped off, and the lonely tree roots were covered in moss. Phoenix tail grass was lush and dense, and there were more birds chirping. At this moment, the fog was dispelled by the morning light, and the forest began to awaken. This path is quite beautiful. Huangzi couldn't help but sigh. It's a pity that we have to go back to Tokyo tomorrow. Aona Koizumi said. Are you reluctant to leave the cool Karuizawa? Don't want to go back to the stuffy Tokyo? Or are you reluctant to leave young Watanabe? Miyazaki Miyuki asked her. What's there to be reluctant about? Huangzi interrupted. School is about to start, and we'll be together every day. I have this kind of worry right now. Aona Koizumi opened her arms and did some chest exercises. Her chest wasn't as exaggerated as Miyazaki Miyuki's, but it couldn't be underestimated. Wrapped in her clothes, it was hard to look away. What's the worry? You don't want to be together with the young man every day? Miyazaki Miyuki asked curiously. Not that. Aona Koizumi answered. I can't bear to leave the present, but the future is also very happy. I really don't know what to do. Ah, Huangzi wailed and put her hands behind her head. I also want a handsome young man. Especially one who doesn't interfere with my life, so that I can continue to be together with the two of you all day, but also give me money to spend. I'm with Watanabe for love. Aona Koizumi gently scolded with a smile. I'm only jealous of material things, freedom, and romance. These three things are almost equal to love. Miyazaki Miyuki patted her trousers, which were wet from the mist and stained with grass. Liar. Huangzi pretended to be unable to accept it, and mischievously shouted. Miyuki, you mean I've already fallen in love with Watanabe? Hey, Aona Koizumi laughed. Huangzi-sensei, I heard you. A voice with a smile came from the pine forest. The three of them looked towards the direction of the voice, and in the gradually dissipating mist, there was a person riding a horse. A white horse with skin as white as snow came lightly, and the noble young man on the horse was wearing a knight's uniform. He was handsome and delicate, and had a pleasant and charming smile. His broad shoulders and slender waist, and the white shirt he wore inside was very stylish. Aona Koizumi looked at him riding a white horse, with a freshly picked lily in his arms, and her heart began to beat uncontrollably. Huangzi came back to her senses, and her face reddened. Then she pretended to be fine and said, This horse is so handsome. Toru Watanabe got off the horse, and walked in front of Aona Koizumi. Just in time, it saves me the money to hire someone to send flowers. He smiled as he passed the flowers to Aona Koizumi. Aona Koizumi bit her lower lip, and her eyes were full of smiles as she looked at him. Thank you. She answered softly and happily, and reached out to take the lily. See you later. Okay. Tetsumasa Watanabe was about to get on the horse, when he suddenly remembered something, and turned to Aona Koizumi and said, Sensei, can you give me a lily? I only gave it to you yesterday, and didn't give it to Miki. She's angry. You can't favor one and discriminate against the other. Aona Koizumi said, and her mouth was full of smiles. Here. Right, what about my? This was secretly given to you, Sensei. Watanabe scumbag said. The main reason was that my Asahi didn't care about these things. Flowers, money, houses, she didn't care about them at all, and couldn't compare to Toru Watanabe's warm hug. How can that be? You go, and Kiyono classmate too. She'll give it to you too. Of course, you can't favor one and discriminate against the other. I'll listen to Sensei. Toru Watanabe accepted the 3 lilies. He got on the horse that was eating grass, and said to Aona Koizumi, Then I'll be leaving. Okay. Koizumi nodded his head happily as he held on to his words. Under the gaze of the 3 people, his slender legs squeezed the horse's belly, and the horse galloped away, disappearing into the deciduous pine forest. That guy didn't say a word to us. Huangzi complained to Miyazaki Miyuki. We're all teachers and he didn't even say hello. A school doctor doesn't have the dignity of a teacher. Miyazaki Miyuki muttered. Aonai, what do you think? Huangzi asked Aona Koizumi. Although the two of them were best friends, Aona Koizumi didn't have any opinions about this, and she definitely wouldn't criticize Toru Watanabe. When Toru Watanabe returned to the villa, Rin Kiyono was actually awake. She wore a white shirt and blue jeans today, simple and fresh, and her beautiful legs made people dizzy. You're up so early today? Toru Watanabe asked. The performance of the Blowing Club is worse than I expected. If this goes on, even if they get the gold medal, they won't be able to go to the national competition. Success or failure, that's their business. Toru Watanabe took a tall glass that the ladies used to drink from the cupboard, and put the 3 lilies into it. If I didn't coach them, it wouldn't matter what happened to the Blowing Club. But after my guidance, they couldn't even enter the national competition. I won't allow it. Toru Watanabe wasn't interested. You have one. He pointed at the lilies in the tall glass. Rin Kiyono glanced at it. I don't want it if it's not the only one. This is Koizumi-sensei's kind intentions. Thank her for me, and then return it. I don't like to accept things from others. The morning was practice, practice, and practice again. The competition on August 25th was no time for Kamigawa to waste. During lunch, everyone was so tired that they couldn't even raise their appetites. Sensei, Let everyone rest after lunch. Don't let it affect the afternoon practice, Rin Kiyono said to Aona Koizumi. Okay, Kiyono classmate, you also need to rest. Don't force yourself too much. After lunch, everyone returned to their rooms to take an afternoon nap under Aona Koizumi's supervision. Team leader, please supervise them. No chatting, no playing with your phone, and you must take an afternoon nap, Keiru Hayami said. Yes. After they left, Toru Watanabe said to Rin Kiyono, where are we going? Around here to pass the time. The two left the hotel, got on their bicycles, and prepared to go to Ginza for a cup of coffee before riding back. Riding on the forest road, the cool breeze, the shade of the trees above, the mottled sunlight, and Rin Kiyono's white shirt, their five senses were greatly satisfied. Toru Watanabe even wanted to reach out and touch the sunlight. The sky was blue and the clouds were white. The scenery around them was like a postcard. The natural scenery of the plateau made people feel the vastness of heaven and earth. When passing by Karuizawa East Primary School, Toru Watanabe said, let's go to Yunchang Lake to take a look. Okay. The two turned into the forest and went to Yunchang Lake. Yunchang Lake is a long and narrow pool, clear and blue, also known as Swan Lake. It takes 10 to 30 minutes to go around it, depending on the speed of the walk. When Toru Watanabe and Rin Kiyono parked their bicycles, a group of children on children's bicycles rushed over. Ache. Sister Rin. Ah, it's the big brother who stood under the slide and peeked under a girl's skirt. The big brother who stood under the slide and peeked under a girl's skirt. The children were like a tornado, laughing, and in the blink of an eye, they went to Ginza. Toru Watanabe. The scattered tourists around looked at Toru Watanabe with surprise and strange eyes. The big brother who stood under the slide and peeked under a girl's skirt. Rin Kiyono covered her mouth with her hand and laughed happily. If I meet that brat Gaia in Jinzuatong, I'm going to beat her up. Yunchang Lake's water was like a mirror, reflecting the blue sky and white clouds, as if the sky and clouds were in the lake and not above their heads. Surrounded by lush greenery, the two strolled around Yunchang Lake, under the shade of the trees, as if they were walking into a painting. This year we went to a lot of places and did a lot of things, Toru Watanabe said leisurely. Sleeping together, music competition, cultural festival, study trip, sports festival, winter camping, Iwate Prefecture New Year, family trip. Rin Kiyono said one by one in the same leisurely tone. MT Takao, Kyoto, Iwate Prefecture, closing her eyes. Those scenes seemed to appear in front of her. Speaking of cultural festival, we also went to MT Takao to take a look. Toru Watanabe turned to look at her with a smile. Yeah, you also said look, it's a pyramid. I remember, there was such a thing. Your eyes at that time were about to bury me in MT Takao. Don't worry. Rin Kiyono said with a slight smile on her face. But with our relationship, I'll only leave you alone there. Our relationship is too good. Toru Watanabe applauded. Our relationship is the best. Rin Kiyono nodded. Are you hesitating about this? Rin Kiyono stopped walking, which was already slow enough. Toru Watanabe also stopped, looked at her and said, recently I read a book. It said, when you have physical intimacy with a woman who is originally second in your heart, and establish a stable relationship with her, you will slowly realize her gentleness. You will constantly discover more of her strengths, and your feelings for her will gradually deepen. It will even surpass the number one in your heart. So now you love Miki Kujo more. I love Miki Kujo the most. Toru Watanabe, who didn't know the answer, said to Rin Kiyono. No, you love Rin Kiyono the most. Rin Kiyono smiled. Toru Watanabe wasn't too surprised. His gaze turned to the calm water of the cloud-filled lake, and said, but before I asked this question, I wasn't too sure who the person I loved the most was. Have you already completely forgotten the enmity between you two? Rin Kiyono also looked at the lake. The quiet water reflected the verdant trees, faintly seeming to ripple. Perhaps Mickey and I will only officially start our lives after we've caused each other harm. Do you have something you want to say to me? The ripples in the lake became bigger. In the blink of an eye, the sky that was still shining brightly a moment ago actually started to rain. Do you want to ride a bicycle back? Toru Watanabe asked. Rin Kiyono covered her head with her hands. Her eyes quickly looked left and right, and then ran towards the shade of a tree in front of her. There was a place where the rain couldn't reach because of the dense shade of the tree. Over here, Watanabe. Rin Kiyono stood there, waving at Toru Watanabe. Toru Watanabe hurriedly ran over. The moment he ducked in, the rain suddenly became heavier. The rain was like thin threads connected together, just like a sweater named Sky. The ends of the threads caught on the ground, and the entire sweater began to unthread. The rain poured down, and the place where the two of them were standing instantly became an isolated island, constantly being eroded by the seawater. Watanabe-san, you want to see the rain in Karuizawa. Rin Kiyono introduced the rain in the cloud pond to Toru Watanabe. I can see anything I want to see, am I God? Toru Watanabe looked at Rin Kiyono in confusion. She still maintained a demure appearance. This sudden rain didn't bring any negative emotions to her. The thin white shirt, after absorbing the rain, revealed the color of her underwear. There was also that wet black hair, extremely elegant and well-proportioned waist. The scenery was 1,000 times more beautiful than Karuizawa. Toru Watanabe didn't know where to look. Behave yourself. Rin Kiyono reprimanded. I've met so many women, but there's no one more beautiful and moving than you. Toru Watanabe turned his gaze, looking at the cloud pond in the rain. There's no need to doubt my cuteness. The rain is also good. Toru Watanabe sighed. It's a good time to chat. Chat about what? About the heavy snow 2 days ago. Tell me about it. Did you forget? At that time, the two of us were trekking in Hokkaido. The snow was swirling, and when we stepped on it, we couldn't even see our calves. You found a wooden house and you shouted to me, "Over here, Watanabe-san." And then we hid in the snow. And then? We wanted to make a fire, but there was only a summer discount flyer in the wooden house, and it said, sea urchin rice for 1,500 yen. At that time, even if we could find firewood, we didn't have any tools to make a fire. Continue. We couldn't sleep, and we couldn't make a fire, so I could only say, let's chat. At that time you said, chat about what? I said, the rain 2 days later, when we were taking a walk in Karuizawa's cloud pond. Just like that, we kept chatting, and we didn't even move forward. After that, Toru Watanabe turned his head and asked Rin Kiyono, how many points? 3 points. That's so low. Rin Kiyono smiled. Watanabe-san, how many drops of water are there in a rain? Are there so many stars in the sky? How many stars are there in the sky? Are there so many stars in a single rain? Since ancient times, the number of people has been the same. Rin Kiyono looked at the pouring rain. There are so many people, and I just want to be myself. Insects flew over with a buzzing sound. Rin Kiyono frowned and waved her hand. Toru Watanabe broke the branches above his head and drove away the annoying insects, who knew whether they came to take shelter from the rain or to annoy him. You guys get lost, order. Even I worship Rin Kiyono as a saintess, and you dare to bother her. Rin Kiyono smiled, without the slightest doubt. She looked at Toru Watanabe with her pure eyes, and said to him in a clear voice like that of a saintess, no matter what others say, I will live on as myself. At that moment, the rain stopped. Toru Watanabe held the branch in his hand and looked at Rin Kiyono, who was even more beautiful than usual. Just as he said, no matter how beautiful a girl was, she would be overshadowed by her. Such a beautiful woman didn't belong to anyone, and she would forever remain cold and aloof. No matter what, I will support you. Toru Watanabe said. Even though the rain had stopped, the raindrops in the forest continued to fall. Their silhouettes were reflected in the rippling cloud pond, and they were surrounded by the slightly dull air of late summer and early autumn. Chapter 324. The next day after the shower, the wind ensemble had lunch and took the school bus out of Carriagings. With their departure, the number of tourists in Carriagings began to decrease, and they returned to the place where they originally belonged. The villas in the forest closed one by one, and autumn in Nagano Prefecture was just around the corner. On August 25th, Toru Watanabe and the others moved chairs, pulled up the cord, and cut their hair under the shade of a tree in front of the villa. Mickey has never been to a beauty salon since she was a child, and I've always cut her hair. Mrs. Cujo took scissors and a comb and trimmed Mickey Cujo's bangs. During this vacation, I admire Auntie Yuko's cooking skills the most, and now I have to add your hairdressing talent. Toru Watanabe sat on a chair upside down. I've noticed that Koen Watanabe seems to be particularly good at saying sweet nothings. Mrs. Cujo asked everyone. I don't know how many girls you've deceived. Kiyono Yuko raised her head from a hairstyle magazine and glanced at Toru Watanabe with a smile. Is that so? Miki Cujo didn't move her head, and her beautiful eyes looked at Toru Watanabe. Of course not, you're my first love. Toru Watanabe said. And just now it wasn't sweet nothings, it was a compliment. Look, Mrs. Kiyono said as if she had discovered something. Not only can you say sweet nothings, but your ability to quibble is also excellent. No wonder you can attack several girls at the same time. Since the shower, Mrs. Kiyono has been making things difficult for Toru Watanabe. In the hammock between the chestnut trees, Rin Kiyono wasn't reading, she was listening to music with her headphones. Auntie Yuko, you can't wrong me. Toru Watanabe explained. My first kiss was Mickey, and my first time was also Mickey. The only girl I actually pursued was Mickey. Where are your two lovers? Mrs. Kiyono did not intend to let Toru Watanabe off the hook so easily. That is, you don't have to explain everything to others. Miki Cujo smiled and said, Auntie Yuzi, I know what's going on with him. Kiyono Yuko flipped through the magazine. Mickey, don't be fooled. Don't even think about it. Cujo Masakazu, who was focused on cutting her hair, said. It's not really a lie. Miki Cujo's rosy and seductive lips said happily. I think compliments and words of love are essential between a man and a woman. They make people happy and promote harmony. Of course, she changed the topic and looked at Toru Watanabe. It's only limited to me. Done. Cujo Masakazu stopped cutting her hair and brushed Miki Cujo's broken hair and untied the scarf. How was the cut? Mrs. Cujo asked Toru Watanabe with a little pride. Toru Watanabe looked at Miki Cujo and then looked at the large amount of hair on the ground. Where did you cut this? It feels the same as before. This is the standard. Cujo Masakazu smiled and admired her daughter. As she looked, she suddenly said, looking carefully, Miki is more radiant and more beautiful than before. It's my credit. Toru Watanabe leaned on the back of the chair and pointed at himself proudly. It's your credit. Miki Cujo stood up and extended her right hand to Toru Watanabe. Take it. If there were only the two of them in the bedroom, she would have extended her beautiful legs. Thank you, Your Highness, for your reward. Toru Watanabe kissed the back of her smooth, snow-white hand. All right, stop acting like a couple over there. Sit over here. Cujo Masakazu tapped the comb with a pair of scissors. Toru Watanabe stood up and sat over. What hairstyle do you want? Cujo Masakazu tied the scarf around his neck. It's fine as long as it's not ugly. Toru Watanabe shook the scarf so that his legs were all hidden inside. That's too easy. With your face, you won't be ugly even if you shave your head. Hey, madam. Call me Mother-sama. Why don't I have Miki cut it for me? I'm hers, so she has a share of my looks. And as long as she cuts it, I won't blame her even if it's a little ugly. So you're saying that you'll blame me? Cujo Masakazu asked in a slightly reproachful tone. After all, we're mother and son. It's fine if we blame each other because we're close. You're the only one who's good at talking. Miki, make it uglier for him. Cujo Masakazu handed the tools to Miki Cujo. Miki Cujo Masakazu held a comb in her left hand and a pair of scissors in her right hand. She smiled as she walked up to Toru Watanabe. Miki. Toru Watanabe looked at the scissors that shone brightly in the sunlight. I love you. My dear, I love you too. Miki Cujo Masakazu's smile deepened. Whether I look good or not doesn't depend on me alone. Do you understand, Kei-san? My Kei-san? You don't believe me? I believe you. I'm just worried that you'll use soy sauce as stock and drink half a bottle. The two ladies laughed. I'll cut you to death. Miki Cujo Masakazu's expression was cold as she spoke harshly. Jokes aside, Miki Kujo Masakazu was very careful when it came to trimming his hair. She also trimmed her bangs and hair occasionally, so she wasn't completely inexperienced. Toru Watanabe Masakazu sat there and looked at her serious and moving eyes. Her delicate little face was almost touching his. He could hear the two ladies chatting and flipping through the pages of a magazine. The treetops swayed in the wind and shone brightly. His inner softness seemed to have been touched, and he felt very comfortable. After cutting Toru Watanabe Masakazu's hair, it was Kiyono Masakazu's turn. Let's walk around nearby, Miki Kujo Masakazu said. There are 2 more people. Come back in an hour, Mrs. Kujo said. Let's meet Qingtai for coffee and lunch later. Got it. Toru Watanabe picked up the jacket on the chair and put it on his wrist. Miki Kujo naturally hooked her arm around his. Leaving the villa, the two of them walked on a forest path filled with acacia trees. This whispering path on the tourist map, and more widely known as the sanatorium path, was known as the most suitable path for couples to walk. Because it was filled with acacia trees, it was loved by the author of The Wind Rises, Hori Toshio, so it was also called Acacia Path. Unfortunately, it was now August, and the flowering period of the acacia had passed. He could only hear the sound of flowing water from the Yazaki River. It was a beautiful sunny day. When I cut my hair, it felt like the end of summer vacation. Toru Watanabe looked at the shattered sunlight on the path. If you like Karuizawa, we can come here every year. After saying that, Miki Kujo asked, how are things going with Rin Kiyono recently? What progress? You're asking the obvious. With my permission, I don't believe that you won't do anything. I didn't. He didn't say. To be precise, I was rejected before I could say anything. Toru Watanabe recalled the afternoon shower. I thought you were good at chasing girls, Miki Kujo mocked. I gave you a chance on purpose, but you still failed. Other than you, when have I ever taken the initiative to pursue anyone? Where did the experience come from? Back then when you pursued me, it was also fake. Miki Kujo said bitterly, and released the hand that hooked around Toru Watanabe's wrist. From now on, you have to sincerely pursue me again. Today's weather is good. Toru Watanabe said. Yeah. Miki Kujo crossed her arms and casually responded. Kujo-san, if you have time, do you want to go for a walk together? I don't have time. Then let's go see Seiji for coffee later? I don't have time later. Isn't your strategy a bit too difficult? Toru Watanabe said with a smile. Do you think I'm a woman who can't walk after seeing your face and will throw herself into your arms? Miki Kujo contemptuously raised her chin. If I didn't kiss you at Imperial Tea, you wouldn't have had a chance. Toru Watanabe thought of the 200,000 points he received from the system after dating Miki Kujo. I made a profit. He nodded and admitted. Idiot. Miki Kujo smiled. Think about it, you didn't like me at the time, and you were almost killed by me twice. What profit did you make? You should be smarter. It's all because you're too beautiful. I love you too much. Otherwise, with my intelligence, how could I be an idiot? Sigh, I'm tired from walking. Miki Kujo stopped and sighed. Toru Watanabe immediately understood what she meant. Come, my Miki. After confirming that his jacket wouldn't fall off, he bent down in front of her. Watanabe-san, I'm not such a frivolous person. Please first jump into Tokyo Bay and swim to Kagawa. Prove your love for me, and then talk to me. You can't swim to Kagawa from Tokyo Bay. So it's impossible for us. Wait. Think about it carefully. All rivers return to the sea. As long as there's running water, we can swim to it. There's still a chance for the two of us. Miki Kujo couldn't help but laugh. She was extremely happy. She stretched out her hand and patted Toru Watanabe's shoulder. Lower yourself. Toru Watanabe lowered his body. Miki Kujo didn't fall on his back, but spread her beautiful legs and rode on his neck. Okay, get up. Kujo-san, this is something only frivolous people would do. Let's go back. Miki Kujo made a gesture to get down. At this moment, Toru Watanabe grabbed her leg and stood up. Ah! The sudden elevation made her cry out softly. In this way, we're dating again, right? Toru Watanabe looked up and asked with a smile. In your dreams, Miki Kujo said disdainfully, and then laughed melodiously. Let's talk about it after you swim back from Kagawa. I'm already on the Shinkansen from Kyoto to Tokyo. Then let's go back. Will the ticket be reimbursed? You don't need the money from your part-time job to pursue me? Watanabe-san, I'm sorry to inform you that you've dropped one place on my list of candidates. There's a problem. Okay. How many candidates are there on the list? Just you. Then why are you so nosy? Hurry up and marry me. Wait until I'm 18. The two of them chatted and laughed, making a lot of noise as they walked forward. Don't move. Miki Kujo suddenly patted Toru Watanabe's head. What's wrong? Miki Kujo pulled the leaves of the elm tree with her hand and broke off a branch. Let's go. Do you think I'm a horse? Anyway, you're the king of the world, and your horse is also called the king of the world. Miki Kujo, riding on Toru Watanabe's neck, waved the branch like a little girl. The king of the world and our great mother. I'll tell her this. Please don't. I'm the only candidate on your list. If your mother knows that I said bad things about her, what if she doesn't allow you to marry me? Then let's elope and die together in the water from Tokyo Bay to Kagawa. That's suicide for love, not for personal. Stop. Miki Kujo used Toru Watanabe as a voice-controlled horse. Toru Watanabe stopped. She took out her phone and took a picture of the two in the wide-angle mirror by the roadside. As they continued to walk forward, Miki Kujo asked, How did Rin Kiyono reject you? She said that there are too many people in this world, and no matter what others say, she will always be herself. Two girls in their 20s rode past the two of them on their bicycles and turned back to look at them. In order to persevere in her own will, even if she loses everything, she doesn't care. Toru Watanabe continued. What was your answer then? I said no matter what, I will always support her. Miki Kujo smiled. When I said support, I was referring to her undying ideals, not her feelings. Toru Watanabe explained. I'm not laughing about that. Then what are you laughing about? Toru Watanabe asked in confusion. From our understanding of her, she is indeed such a heartless person, but from a girl's perspective, forget it, she probably won't have such thoughts. If this continues, are you willing? What does it matter if I'm willing or not? She's already made her decision. All I can do is to persevere and live on, and make the two of you reconcile according to the plan. You don't intend to give up everything for her? Miki Kujo asked with interest. If I didn't meet you, Miki Watanabe-san, I'm happy to inform you that your name on the list of candidates has risen, and you can kiss me now. Toru Watanabe took Miki Kujo to the forest, put on her coat, and pushed her on the trunk of a fir tree. Miki Kujo hugged Toru Watanabe's neck, and Toru Watanabe hugged her tight waist with both hands. The two kissed in the shade of the tree. A cool breeze blew through the forest, and the sound of a stream washing over a stone could be heard in the distance. The sunlight cast mottled shadows through the leaves, and the air was filtered by the forest, leaving behind a sweet smell. It was a kind of tranquility that was isolated from the world, but not lonely. After returning to the villa, the five of them went to the Sunrise Terrace together. The Sunrise Terrace was located at the peak of Mount Rujui, 1,200 meters above sea level in Prospect Park. The weather was very good that day. Toru Watanabe sat on the terrace, looking at the border between Gunma Prefecture and Nagano Prefecture, the Southern Alps and Mount Hagakayama. After eating the pancakes from the tea house in the mountains, they returned to the villa. The next day, August 26th, Keiho came to say goodbye. She was going back to Tokyo with her parents. Ryo-chan, see you next year. Keiho stood at the end of the villa's path, waving vigorously. See you next year. Xiaolian shouted at the villa's door. See you next year. See you next year. The two of them said goodbye reluctantly. Keiho got on the bicycle, and Xiaolian rushed out, running to the end of the path and standing on the main road. Keiho, see you next year, she shouted at Keiho, who was in the distance. Gaia waved her hand vigorously in his direction, until he disappeared without a trace. Xiaolian stood there, staring blankly in the direction where Keiho disappeared. Toru Watanabe walked over and stroked her little head. Xiaolian, remember this moment of anticipation for your reunion with Keiho. When you leave your hometown next year, remember that someone is waiting for you in Tokyo. Yeah. We'll return to Tokyo the day after tomorrow. You'll see Mom and Dad soon. Xiaolian finally looked up at Toru Watanabe and said, Ache, I still want to play with Keiho. When you go back, how about you write to Keiho just like how you write to Mom and Dad? Yeah. Xiaolian's expression was solemn, and she even looked angry. After Keiho left, Xiaolian no longer rode her bicycle to the streets of Karuizawa, the woods, and the pool. August 28th. The 6 of them left Karuizawa after 28 days. Chapter 325. August 29th. Toru Watanabe took Xiaolian to stroll around the streets of Tokyo. The long-lost irritability and stuffy heat of Tokyo kept pestering them. After entering a building, they still persevered outside. It was still midsummer in Tokyo. On the morning of the 30th, Xiaolian took the Shinkansen back to Iwate Prefecture. Toru Watanabe came back from the station. Aona Koizumi and the other 2 who went to school in the morning had already returned. Xiaolian went back? Aona Koizumi was still wearing her teacher's uniform. Aonai, help me hang it up. Huangzi took off her woman's suit jacket and begged Aona Koizumi like a child. After Aona Koizumi took her jacket, she walked toward the sofa like a zombie. Go to the bedroom and change your clothes first, don't wrinkle your shirt. Aona Koizumi reminded. Rest for a while, it's so hot. Huangzi weakly fell on the sofa. Her knee-length skirt slid up a little, revealing her white thighs. Toru Watanabe changed direction and sat on the single sofa beside Huangzi's head. Miyazaki Miyuki sat on the edge of Huangzi's legs, staring at the ceiling in a daze. Her right hand unconsciously pulled the collar of her shirt to let the wind in. Aona Koizumi returned to the bedroom and took off her teacher's uniform. She changed into a white short-sleeved skirt with a puppy printed on it. Do you want ice cream? She tied her hair and asked the 3 people in the living room. Yes. Huangzi stretched out her right hand and flapped it twice like a bird's wing, then weakly hung on the edge of the sofa. I'll go get it. Toru Watanabe stood up and said to Aona Koizumi, You also rest for a while. It's okay, you also worked hard. Aona Koizumi went into the kitchen and Toru Watanabe followed. What do you want to eat? Aona Koizumi opened the refrigerator and bent down to open the drawer of the freezer. Huangzi bought a lot a few days ago. There are all kinds of flavors. Sensei, please let me choose. You choose. Aona Koizumi straightened her back, only to find that the space had suddenly become narrow. Watanabe. Toru Watanabe blocked her way, not letting her go. Teacher. Toru Watanabe called out in a low voice. Didn't you want to pick ice cream? Aona Koizumi looked back carefully, not daring to turn around. Yes, I've already checked it out. Then why don't you let me? Oh. Toru Watanabe leaned forward and kissed Aona Koizumi's lips. Soft and soft, tightly shut lips. After kissing for a while, Aona Koizumi pushed Toru Watanabe away. In that instant, Toru Watanabe kissed her again, his tongue bursting into her mouth. Oh. Aona Koizumi wanted to escape, her back pressed against the fridge door. Toru Watanabe's lips were glued to hers, refusing to let go. She wanted to turn her face away shyly, but Toru Watanabe hugged her waist tightly, and her delicate body lost all strength. After Toru Watanabe teased her a few times with their tongues, she finally responded with a trembling voice, entangling them together. When Aona Koizumi was wearing her teacher's uniform, she looked on the skinny side. Her body was slim and curvy, but it felt very fleshy to the touch. Her breasts were big, round, and very voluptuous. The curve from her ears to her neck was also very beautiful. Needless to say, her skin was delicate and white. As for her lips, they were like ice cream that could never be finished. Haha. After Toru Watanabe let go, Aona Koizumi's face was flushed red, and she panted unconsciously. After her breathing stabilized, She hurriedly said, "It's done." Aona Koizumi was sweet, shy, and scared. Toru Watanabe saw her constantly glancing at the entrance of the kitchen. Her worried look was very cute. "I don't want to let you go." As he spoke, he wanted to stick to her again. "Watanabe." Aona Koizumi lowered her voice. Her heart was thumping anxiously. "If we don't go back now, they will find out. If they find out, then they find out." "Watanabe," Aona Koizumi shouted almost pleadingly. Okay, but I have a condition." Toru Watanabe's eyes were smiling, carefully looking at Aona Koizumi's beautiful oval face. "Teacher Aonai, I have always been the one kissing you. You should also kiss me once. Next time, okay? I really can't do it now. Kiss." Toru Watanabe's lips touched Aona Koizumi's lips. "That's enough, come on." Aona Koizumi's eyes were watery. Sometimes she looked at the entrance of the kitchen. Sometimes she looked at the smiling and proud Toru Watanabe. "Oh really?" She quickly pecked the youth's lips. "Okay, get out of the way." Toru Watanabe let go of his hand, leaned back on the kitchen counter, and looked at Aona Koizumi hurriedly bending over to get the ice cream. "Teacher, it's not a psychological effect. Your mouth is really a bit sweet," he said. Even with the cold air blowing on her face, Aona Koizumi's face was even redder. When they drove back from school, Huangzi peeled a candy for her. The taste was still in her mouth, and Toru Watanabe tasted it. Too embarrassing. What do you want to eat?" Because she was too shy, she intended to speak in a businesslike tone between a teacher and a student. However, from her intermittent and pretentious manner, anyone could see the panic and shyness in her heart. "Anything is fine." Toru Watanabe put his hands into his trouser pockets. "When I was a child in the village, I only ate the cheapest kind of popsicles in summer." "The kind with the winning prize written on the wooden stick?" Aona Koizumi asked. "Your childhood was actually the same as your teacher's. Do you have any dissatisfaction?" Aona Koizumi finally got rid of her shyness, stood up with 4 ice cream cones, and handed one of them to Toru Watanabe. "Teacher, I don't want this, change it to the chocolate vanilla one. You just said you'll eat anything." Aona Koizumi looked at him angrily, then smiled and changed it for him. This was a soft ice cream, which could be eaten by licking, and was different from the ice cream Toru Watanabe ate in the village when he was a child. The ice cream in the village had a hard texture, and had to be eaten by biting. Toru Watanabe took a small bite, and the texture was delicate and smooth, like silk slipping onto the tip of his tongue and down his throat, without any graininess. "Teacher, you're the best." He ate it on the spot. Aona Koizumi remembered the taste of their tongues tangling, and her heart was filled with reluctance. Sensing that she also wanted to continue, she quickly took the ice cream cone out. The 4 of them sat in the living room, eating ice cream cones, and talked about the matters discussed in the morning's teachers' meeting. After finishing the ice cream cone, Aona Koizumi asked the 3 of them, "What are we eating for lunch?" "Don't bother, just cook some udon noodles." Huangzi ate the shell of the ice cream cone. "Okay." Aona Koizumi stood up. "Watanabe, go and call my." "Let's call." Toru Watanabe took out his phone. If he really went, the noodles would be ready. No, he wouldn't be back even after dark. "There's still prawns and vegetables in the fridge." Miyazaki Miyuki stood up. "I'll help." The 2 of them walked towards the kitchen, and Huangzi slipped off the sofa and trotted after them. One more cute ice cream cone, my favorite ice cream cone," she hummed. "It's almost time to eat." Aona Koizumi's voice came from the other side. "It's okay, just one." "Help Watanabe get one too, and my 2. 2 kids, they're only allowed to eat after the meal." After a simple lunch, Toru Watanabe began to think of the script for the cultural festival. He took a pencil and paper to write his essay, sat down at the living room table, and sank into deep thought. At this table, apart from him, Aona Koizumi and Huangzi were preparing for class, and Miyazaki Miyuki seemed to be preparing a list of medicine and medical equipment. Mayasahi sat on the sofa, eating ice cream while watching TV. When the teachers finished preparing for class, the 4 women brought eggs, low-gluten flour, milk, and other ingredients, as well as glass bowls, egg beaters, and other tools to make puffs in the living room. "Ah, I'm so tired." Huangzi put down the egg beaters and shook her hands vigorously. There was an egg beaters, but only one. They gave it to the youngest Masahi, and used their own hands. I'll do it. Toru Watanabe put down the pencil and walked over to join in the fun. Have you finished writing the script? Aona Koizumi skillfully whipped the cream and asked him gently. No, but there's no rush. Toru Watanabe rolled up his sleeves, took the glass bowl and egg beaters from Huangzi, and quickly and rhythmically whipped the cream. Good luck. Huangzi patted his shoulder encouragingly with her flour-covered hands. Huangzi, Aona Koizumi shouted. It's okay, Toru Watanabe said indifferently. Let her help me wash it. If I want to help you wash it, Aonai will snatch it away. Huangzi looked proud. Aonai-sensei, I won't wear this shirt a second time. Let Huangzi wash it. Okay. Koizumi Aonai replied with a smile. You're not wearing it, and you want me to wash it. Ha! Huangzi patted Toru Watanabe's back a few times, leaving flower palm prints. A 25-year-old young woman, who was so strict in class that the students didn't dare to make a sound, was a little girl in real life. Don't bully Toru. Masahi used her fingers to scoop a bit of the cream that she had almost finished whipping and smeared it on Huangzi's teacher uniform shirt. Huangzi pinched the small piece of cream in disbelief, and looked at Aona Koizumi, as if she was about to cry. Aona Koizumi didn't know whether to laugh or cry. Hurry up and wash it. It won't come off later. Oh, Huangzi cried and walked to the bathroom. After a while, her cry for help came from the bathroom. Help me get my clothes. I forgot to take them. They spent the last 2 days of the summer vacation laughing and laughing. It was September. On the first day of school, the weather cooled down a little. The highest temperature was only 29 degrees. Good morning, Kiyono-san. Toru Watanabe walked up the slope with cherry blossoms and green leaves fluttering in the wind, and walked side by side with a beautiful figure. Good morning, Watanabe-san. Rin Kiyono nodded gently. Did you see the news this morning? The world is going to be destroyed. I don't know about the world, but maybe Tokyo. Meteorite. A super strong typhoon is on its way, passing through the Kanto area, and may even land directly. Rin Kiyono didn't care and said indifferently. September is the peak season for typhoons. Because of the geographical location, there are typhoons all over Japan at this time every year. Poor Tokyo people. Oh right, remember to prepare food this year, don't starve again. Thank you for your concern, you two. I almost forgot, you moved to Shinano. There are teachers and seniors, you won't starve anywhere. Why do I feel like you're mocking me? I'm mocking you, Watanabe-san. I occasionally miss the night when I went out to buy supper and bumped into you. I really want to go back to that summer. Rin Kiyono didn't say anything. The two came to the school gate and saw the huge lush oak tree from afar, as well as the buzzcut boys wearing summer uniforms kneeling in a row at the school gate. The baseball manager, Kobayashi Yukiko, the only girl, knelt at the edge with her head buried. Her face couldn't be seen clearly, only her red ears exposed her shyness. What's this for? Toru Watanabe asked curiously. The students who hadn't seen each other for the entire summer were gathered at the school gate, chatting with each other, expressing their excitement and anticipation for the new semester, while looking at the buzzcut boys. Rin Kiyono didn't have the slightest interest. Carrying his bag, he went straight to the school gate. Watanabe. Osamu Kanai, who was kneeling in the crowd, shouted. What? Before Toru Watanabe could react, the baseball club rushed over. Because he helped them advance to Koshien, but they only got into the top 4, so they came to apologize? Or to complain that he didn't play in Koshien? Toru Watanabe, who stood still, guessed the baseball club's thoughts. Come. Together. We're just waiting for you. What? Toru Watanabe was stunned. The baseball club members, led by Osamu Kanai, carried Toru Watanabe to the school gate, in front of the wall with the words Private Kamigawa High School written on it. At this time, Kobayashi Yukiko finally raised her head. Her red face happily looked at Toru Watanabe. Rin Kiyono stopped and looked at this scene with interest. What are you doing? Toru Watanabe shouted. You're also a member of the baseball club. That's right. I still remember Watanabe classmates' powerful throw in the district finals. There's also a home run that smashed the electronic screen outside the outfield. What do you mean? Toru Watanabe realized that something was wrong. You want me to retire? Impossible. Absolutely impossible. I want to leave the club. How can we let you leave the club now? Yes, it's not allowed. Kobayashi Yukiko shouted, clapping her hands, her face full of smiles. It's you who let me join the club without permission, right? I protest. Toru Watanabe twisted his arms, suddenly breaking free from the group of buzzcut men. He slung his bag and ran towards the campus. Don't let him escape. Koen Watanabe, do your best. Baseball club, go after him. Some supported Toru Watanabe, while others wanted to see him retire. On the first day of school, Kamigawa's gate was full of chaos. How could Toru Watanabe let them catch him? Other than his parents who gave birth to him and raised him, only Sister Miki could make him kneel. Don't even think about getting past me. The PE teacher on duty opened his arms and blocked the school gate. I told you, I'm not a member of the baseball club. Toru Watanabe gently twisted his body, his bag almost brushing against the PE teacher's clothes, and slipped into the campus. Give up, you can't catch me. Don't you feel hot running so early in the morning? Toru Watanabe turned around and shouted. Kiyono classmate. Kobayashi Yukiko shouted. How could Rin Kiyono stop Watanabe? Hey, Kiyono classmate. Rusha-san? Seino Rin had extraordinary reflexes, and stood in front of Toru Watanabe. Chinyi Rin chuckled and moved to the side to make room for him. Catch him. In the few seconds of hesitation, the baseball club had already caught up. Toru Watanabe didn't run, his slender figure stood in place. Don't chase, he said. I'm half a member of the baseball club, I can bow, but I definitely won't retire. It wasn't like he was in the bedroom with Sister Miki. Unless Rin Kiyono agreed to let him touch her legs, Toru Watanabe would definitely not retire. If you're a member of the baseball club, you must retire. That's right. I worked so hard to get you into Koshien, but what happened to you? You still have the nerve to ask me to retire? The baseball club, who originally didn't want to retire because they didn't enter the Koshien finals, all showed hesitation. Okay, you bow. That's more like it. Toru Watanabe followed the baseball club back to the school gate. After taking 3 steps, Rin Kiyono said behind him, Watanabe classmate, give me your bag. Toru Watanabe took his bag off his shoulder and directly handed it to her. He didn't say thank you, instead he glared at her. I only agreed to bow because you stopped me. Thank me properly. Rin Kiyono ignored his gaze, carrying 2 bags and looking at him with a smile. At the school gate on the first day of school, Toru Watanabe, who was sitting in the baseball club, bowed and shouted to the teachers and students coming and going. Sorry that you're tuning in to the Earbook Haven YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.